robotic delivery on her gets away with a disperse.
Some damage on the best. Stone Shield prevents almost all of the Fearless. Right.
Shadow keeps juking Real. The Real can't find the hit. Shadow's still alive.
He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for the championship. He's fighting for everything he stands.
It's their game to lose.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 66 of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro. Joining me this week, as always, we have F. And once again, joining us, Smitten. How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. F. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling fantastic, my friend. Very excited to be here as always, bud.
Yeah, we got some good stuff going on this week. The patch will be a good one to go over now that we've had a little bit of time to play with it on the live servers. So we'll be going over that towards a little bit more towards the end of the show here. So that should be quite enjoyable. Going ahead, you know, as we usually start off the show, just kind of go over what we've been up to this week in Smite. So throw it over to Smitten first. What have you been doing in Smite video games?
I've been running fives as usual. Tested out the patch. I got a lot to say on that later. Let's just leave you with a little air mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till we get to the end of the show, to be honest with you. Usually I'm like hyped about esports, ready for esports section, but this week definitely the patch notes.
Right?
F. What about you?
Same thing I do every week, Pinky. Watch all the SPL games forever and ever.
First of all, why is F. the only one with not a red shirt?
I know. Yeah.
Too cool, bud.
We got to support the NA. You got NA region for me and Smitten EU for F. It looks like. So, you know, he's got to play it cool.
Of course, gotta be a little bit different.
Awesome. I got a little bit of Smite in here and there this week. Did get a chance to play the patch decent amount. I raged a little bit last night. My internet went out and Comcast tried to tell me that it was my modem and they couldn't be out here till Tuesday and blah blah blah. And then like an hour later, I get a call and they're like, "Oh, we have an outage in the area. We're sorry."
Rip.
Hour later, it comes back up. I'm happy. Didn't get to play, but whatever. It's Comcast for you. But outside,
Yay.
I know, right? Outside that, let's go ahead and jump into right before we get now into the show news. We'll talk a little bit more about letting you guys know that this podcast is available on iTunes. So if you guys, don't have a chance to check out the whole video version and you want to check out the audio version on your way to work, at the gym, whatever you're doing, go into iTunes, look up Smite Update, and please go ahead and download it, subscribe, and please make sure you guys leave some. You guys stop it.
It's also really good. The audio version is actually also really good for people that just don't want to look at Octane Pro. You get all the content of the show.
Wow.
And you don't have to.
Wow.
We are not even like
Just because
10 minutes into this.
just because myself and Smitten are prettier than you does not mean that you got to throw us under the hole.
Boys,
Okay, come on
we're
now.
both pretty. Let's move on.
Smitten says I was pretty. Anyways, want to remind you guys, please make sure that you guys go over and follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate. You'll go ahead and check out all the show information, all the links that we talk about during the show, as well as some gem and god pack and skin giveaways will be given away throughout the show. So please make sure you go over twitter.com/TheSmiteUpdate and check it out. So let's go ahead and dive in to our community news this week. We do have the sci-fi bundle that is available at 25% off right now. We do have the Anubis skin, the Naja skin, and then we do have Ymir skin on there. I assume you guys have all three of these right now. Is that correct? You
Which
guys,
ones?
the Anubis, the Stargazer, the Cyberpunk, and then the Digimir 9000.
Yeah, I got a list.
Yeah, what about
I've
you?
got the DM Brandon skin, the Cyberpunk one, but that's it.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying it's modeled off of DM Brandon? I don't understand.
Yes, it's a short, sharply dressed man on aggressive inline skates. It's basically DM's life. Digimir doesn't really do it for me. And Stargate, Anubis, or whatever.
Stargazer.
Whatever.
It's from Stargate SG1. Come on now, bro. Get it
I
right.
don't really play Anubis because I like to move while I do my damage, so I don't even know if I have that skin.
He's too good for Nubis, is all he's
Maybe a
saying.
chest got it for me, so
I love that skin. I loved it when it came out. The DM Brandon skin you're talking about, I don't know if I can imagine Brandon on skates, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I just can't imagine him on skates. Just my thoughts.
And
he used to be a very competitive inline skater.
Yeah, and he's quite graceful.
Are you serious?
He was no, like real talk.
Really?
DM Brandon was like a sponsored skater back in the day. Yeah, dude.
Like, okay. So not like skateboarder, like skater actually.
No, like aggressive inline, yeah.
Wow, I feel like I was.
Grinds
I feel like I was just showing up, and I'm actually really impressed. Like I never imagined Brandon to be like that. So
yeah,
I have even more respect for him right now for knowing that. To be honest with you. And then we also have the Digimir one, which the Digimir one 9000 I think is one of the best Ymir ones out there until the nuclear Ymir came out.
I like that skin a lot.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Moving on from, so make sure you guys do get it. It's a 25% off right now. It's a bundle. I'm actually kind of happy that we're seeing a Hi-Rez starting with some of these bundles. I think this is a good way to go. You know, allows you guys to get these for cheaper. So pretty neat to say the least.
Who's barking?
That's my dog. Can you still hear it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna turn down my mic. I don't know what my dog's barking.
Turn down your dog.
Turn
can't.
your dog down.
There is
the volume down.
Turn down for what?
There is no humane way to mute my dog. There's no humane way to do it.
Bring him into the room.
No.
Just give him love and affection. That's all he wants. That's what he's barking for. He needs you.
No comment. Moving on. Committee drafted skin. So it looks like that, you know, those of you guys who have been following along the show and some of the news that has come out. You know, we do have the last skin within the Odyssey. There was a bunch of voting going on with a bunch of people to decide who, you know, what god was going to get that last skin. And now we have, you know, community skin, calling all artists. So there's going to be a Thanatos skin that is developed here. I'll put a link in chat if you guys want to go ahead and get more details on that. I think this is super cool that, you know, Hi-Rez is so connected with the scene that they're, you know, allowing the community artist. I can think of quite a few people that actually have the talent out there that I've seen posting to be able to do this. So I think it's pretty cool. So if you guys are an artist and want to get in on this, please make sure you go ahead to that link, post it in chat. I'll put it in the comments as well, and you guys can go check that out. Based off of that, you know, I thought you know, we kind of talked a little bit more about skins here and there. And we don't usually talk, you know, what's our favorites here and there, but I thought I'd kind of go around and just kind of ask, you know, what's your favorite skin to date right now? That is released for Smite. Pick one. Only one.
Swin,
Only
go first.
one?
One skin.
Swin, go first.
Ah, damn. Well, I've got two, like, favorites in the game.
Okay.
And they're for different reasons. One of my favorites is my favorite because of the effects on it, and it's Ragni's Black Widow skin. I think it is just gorgeous. Like, everything down to, like, the poison coming off of her hands, and she's all red and black and awesome. That one I think looks really good because of the effects. As far as just aesthetically, I love Thanatos' Jack the Ripper. What is it? Yeah, Jack the Ripper skin. His Halloween skin is so good.
F-Dot, what do you got?
Crap, dude.
One. Only one.
I mean, what are you, a joke? I don't know, the skin. I like Fenrir's default skin. Does that count? Can I say that?
Really?
You can say it. I'm not happy with it, but you can say it.
Lame.
Well, all right. So I really like the card. I think Fenrir's Christmas skin is the best card in the game. He's like sitting in a chair, like drinking hot chocolate in front of a fire. It's beautiful. But as far as the skin itself, dude, I Geb 1 maybe. I'll say Geb 1. I got no clue.
Okay. My toss-up was going to be between Digimir, the 9000, and the Geb 1. But since you picked Geb 1, I'll have to go with the Digimir 9000. I still really enjoy that. I'm really happy with some of the changes they made to it some time back, adding it with the ultimate and stuff like that in the wall. So I love it. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Moving on from there, free gems for using Curse Voice. So it looks like Hi-Rez has gone ahead and continued this. I'll put more details in chat if you guys are looking for free gems. I know everyone usually is.
Everybody's looking for free gems.
So it looks like this just came out on the 8th. Hi-Rez, or DryBear actually put it up. He says, we're excited to announce that we are extending the free gem promotion for using Curse Voice. So if you guys are looking for additional 200 gems, make sure that you guys do get on that. I don't, Smitten, what do you use when you do like viewer games and stuff like that with your chat? Do you use like TeamSpeak or do you use Curse?
I have a TeamSpeak. I use Curse whenever I'm doing my ranged games, and that's pretty much. And like I hardly ever use it in like casual solo queue, but if I ever wanted to talk to the kinds of people that are in solo casual queue, I would use Curse.
Hey, that's all I do is solo casual queue. What are you trying to say?
You're not doing it right, is what I'm trying to say.
Wow. Fight me at PAX. Jeez.
I will fight you.
So I use Curse as much as I can now. I used to use Raid Call, kind of like with your TeamSpeak as a lot. But I use Curse now constantly. Really enjoy it. The only thing I don't like about Curse right now is the fact that defaultly where Curse sits, it now goes over top of the player portraits. So you actually have to move the Curse UI. Just because of the way that it overlaps defaultly set up. So that's kind of a bummer, but you can move it. You can move it, no big deal. But I'm actually really pleased with how far Curse has come. When when it was first launched and where it's at now, I'm finding more and more people have it. It was kind of one of those things when it came out, it was kind of spotty type of deal. But when I'm watching a lot of streams, a lot of competitive players playing, they get into ranked. Like 4 out of the 5 people constantly have Curse. So I'm really happy with that. F. Dot, what are your consensus? What's your thoughts over Curse? I know you were a little skeptical at first. You were skeptical at first.
No, I wasn't. Not at all. What are you trying to do to me?
I'm not trying.
Voice communication in a MOBA is how you win in a MOBA.
Critical.
Period.
Yeah.
And like, all I do is casual queue, so I kind of just like pick Thanatos, build Heartseeker, or like pick Hebo, build Doom Orb, and try to get 20 kills. So like, I don't really find myself in Curse, but if somebody's in ranked that doesn't use Curse, I actually get mad when I watch a stream. Like, you're trying to win. Ranked is the try-hard mode, and like, why wouldn't you just boot up this thing that just works flawlessly? It's fantastic. So.
But see, like, there's kind of an issue there in and of itself using Curse during ranked, which I totally agree that you should. It does make things a lot easier. It does make the game flow a little bit better. But like, kind of the downfall of that is like, when you're streaming, like all of us do, like using Curse voice, like you get so wrapped up in that conversation, it's almost like you lose some of the attachment to your viewers, like being able to talk back and forth with them. Yeah. So that's why I only use Curse whenever I'm doing ranked.
Okay.
But at the same time,
I kind of feel like ranked isn't fantastic content if that's what your stream is. Like my stream is I chill, I talk to my viewers. That's kind of my gimmick. So you're not going to find me put on the tryhard pants anytime soon, because that's sort of what ranked's about, right? Yeah. So, you jump into Curse and like sort of like rip your viewers, they better be there to see your gameplay if you're streaming ranked, So that's why I'm the solo casual.
Yeah, that's why like a lot of competitive players will stream ranked because that is, that's where their skill level's at. So you're watching them. A lot of people are watching ranked players because of some of the odd and ends when it comes down to like, oh, like I want to watch their playstyle or I want to watch their picks or their builds or how they do this or how they build this. Whereas like other streamers like Smitten maybe, or myself, for example, or F. Dot, like a lot of the times, at least I could say, it's more for personality,
Yeah. See, that's the choice that you have to make whenever you're deciding that you want to be a streamer. You have 2 options as a streamer. Either you're going to be a professional, and that's what all of your channel is going to be about, is like being in ranks, explaining builds, explaining decision making, explaining god picks and bans and stuff like that. Or you're going to be an entertainer, like the 3 of us, where we are informed as far as the professional scene is going, and like the meta there, but we also bring more of an entertainment element to it. So.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. So as well, last thing here that we do have going on, we do have the Hi-Rez Studios community manager DryBear went ahead and put a post on Reddit, and I really like this. He put a post out there pretty much saying, hey, the patch is out. Okay, now let's see some feedback. And I'm happy that we have an outlet for this, because what we usually see after a patch comes out is a whole bunch of different Reddit posts with people complaining or what people are happy with. We see a bunch of Twitter posts as well. So I'm happy that like Hi-Rez is seeing the fact that, okay, like this is a great way that we can get feedback on it, and we don't need to have a million posts on Reddit with people complaining about this is broken or this is great type of deal. So kudos to DryBear for putting that out there. Do appreciate that for sure.
He's been doing that for a minute. They've been
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Reddit threads post patch saying like, so what do you guys think? Is it garbage? Is it good? Let me know. And then you get like 20 million people saying nerf Hades, and it doesn't really do its job. But some of the good information seeps back to Hi-Rez a little bit. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yep. I can totally agree. I mean, it's been interesting how far Hi-Rez has come since even just open beta or since the game launched in March. They're very concerned about what the community thinks. They're very in touch with the community, and that may be because of the size of the company, but I don't think so. I think it really comes down to the fact of just their business model and how they stay connected with the community, especially with over in like China as well. Making sure that the gods are up to par as to what the player base is expecting. So, kudos to them for some of the things that they've been working on and keeping in contact, with us as the community to get our opinion on things. So, last thing that we have here before we get into Streamer of the Week is we're going to talk about this little video series called Know Your Enemy. This is something that was put together by Trendkill with Hi-Rez Studios.
My man Trendkill.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. So he'll be joining us in just a second here to talk a little bit about it. The making,
Really?
the making of it, along with just kind of stuff to expect down the road. So he's getting his audio stuff figured out right now. He'll be joining us in just a second. But
why did you tell me Trendkill was coming? I'm so excited now.
I like to leave surprises. What can I say? So did any of you guys?
Chat's asking when we're going to talk about the boosh. We'll talk about the boosh soon to come. Just calm down. Calm down. It's all right. Like, just give us a few minutes. We're almost there. I promise you. The boosh hype is real, though.
Boosh is just so dope. I was watching
I know, right?
Yeah, man. I was watching that game with the Salt Squad.
The Salt Squad.
The Salt Squad is the name of the Challenger Cup production team.
Okay.
We are the Salt Squad. I was watching that game along with the rest of the SPL with me, Kret, Moji, and Hindu Man. And so you've got 3 casters and a sarcastic swear word chilling and mumble together, and we're just watching the boosh. First we watch Divio's 2v1.
Yeah.
Then we watch Eonic mess around with 3 dudes, but he's a support, so it doesn't really matter. Then we watch Snoopy 2v1, and then we watch Raid Boss Boosh just take on the entire team, turn around with no HP, and we're all just like, Hindu Man is doing exactly what you would expect. It's like, oh my god, do you see that action? And Kret just like, oh my god, like his hair's on fire, and I'm just like, beautiful, 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 over and over. And then you just got Moji like, yeah, that's good.
That's good. Nice job. Good job. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into the SPL. Trendkill, you with us? There we go. He speaks.
Is that TK?
TK, Donkey Kong. How's it going, bud?
TK, baby, that hoodie looks good on you in the video, boy.
Yeah. I do my best.
So tell us what this is all about. This new video series that you've been working on.
Yeah, this I heard you guys talking about it when I got in here. We as a community put a big focus on esports because obviously that's where the industry's going, and we want to help legitimize Smite as an esports game and community, period. Beyond that, though, what we don't focus on a lot is helping new players get to that point where, they may be the next Eonic. I heard you guys talking. They may be the next Lasses, but we don't have anything that's going to help them get there yet. So we're focusing on the casual player that's just getting into the game, maybe levels 1 through 10, who needs some help getting to where they can play on that level eventually, So help them get started so they don't get into the game and go, crap, this is a lot to take in. What do I do? Why am I getting destroyed by all these Smurfs? That kind of stuff.
Very cool. So I guess tell us a little bit about the making of it. It definitely seems much more in-depth than your traditional guide where it's just the camera laid out in-game and someone talking over top of it. It definitely seems much more in-depth than that.
Yeah, it's a lot more storyboarded than your normal guide. So essentially, it took me about a month to put something like this together, going back and forth with ideas and storyboarding it and making sure that the audio was synced up. You can't really tell in this video, but for some reason my lapel mic, the lavalier mics that stick on your shirt, my mic is just crap. It is awful. And it just sounded like I was sitting across the room from a microphone that had a piece of tinfoil over it. It was so bad. So what I ended up having to do for this video is record the video through my camera.
Okay.
Through the microphone on my camera, which is also garbage if you have a microphone on the camera. And then go back and completely dub my voice over myself, which took forever.
Oh, that sounds horrible. I don't envy you at all.
It was awful because I was adjusting pitch and I was adjusting tempo and stretching it and shrinking it to make it all match. It was so bad. So that took longer. And then we didn't like the way the first one came out because there was a different vision. So I shot back the idea for Know Your Enemy, which is a more focused, this is how you play against a god rather than, here's how you play Neith,
Yeah.
I like that.
So it gives a different perspective, and new players, when they come into the game, they play one god. They usually stick to it. I like Thor. I'm going to stick to playing Thor. So they don't play the other 50-plus gods in the game, so they don't know how to play against those gods. So that was the idea, and yeah, man, the creation of it was crazy. Different camera angles and just recording the footage, it was nuts.
Yeah,
fantastic. You can really see the amount of work you put in.
Yeah, I can
appreciate that.
I can see how it took a month, to be honest with you. So what can people expect in the future of this series? Are you just going to go through each god the same way, or is this one going to be? Is this video a little bit more in depth as kind of the introduction to the series?
Well, this one's a little more in-depth simply because I had to explain the series, what you're going to expect out of it. I had to explain kind of like the radar graph that pops up and shows you a quick glimpse of the god. That's really about it. That's going to shave 3 to 4 minutes off the video, so they should be 8 to 10 minutes, I would estimate. Maybe a little longer than 10 if I get long-winded or if it's I like to talk. So, no, but yeah, the series is going to continue. We're going to try to do a god per week. If we don't get that week deadline, then it'll be every other week, something like that. We're going to start with the 5 free gods. So what is that? Emir, Neith, Ra, Guan, Thor.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And then, yeah, after we're done with the 5 free gods, then we'll focus on the gods that are in rotation at that time. So those gods are in, a 2 to 3 week rotation or whatever. We'll do a couple of those gods while they're in rotation, and when they rotate out, we'll do a couple of the new gods that are in the next rotation that we haven't already done. So that's the plan for the future. Again, we hope to get one out per week. I've got Emir probably about 80% done. So
sweet.
Yeah. Storyboarding and setting it all up was the pain in the butt.
So when can we expect Ymir if you're 80% done?
Probably. I think they're gonna try to be released every Friday. Thursday or Friday, something like that. Okay. So yeah, it should be coming this week. When was the other one put up? Was that Thursday or Friday?
I feel like it was Friday, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
just taking a guess.
It'll be this coming Friday then.
I think it was Thursday.
Yeah,
no, 2 days ago. It was Friday. All right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yay, we know numbers here at the Smite Talk Show.
We can count. We can count. Well, that's awesome, man. So you have Ymir coming up next here very shortly. And, something I noticed that you had talked about in the series that you let people know, like, this is definitely, and you spoke about here, this is definitely for new players, not for, like, your pro player or someone high in rank. Like, this is, hey, your friend's starting out playing, introduce them to this.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to admit, I sent it to about 5 of my friends that had played Smite but have not really made the transition past, hey, here's the tutorial. So the video, I've gotten some feedback from them, and they've said it's been awesome, kept them in the loop. They feel much more comfortable now. So kudos to you, man. And
that's the point.
It's definitely very cool.
I mean, anything I touch is going to be amazing. So I just,
oh
it
my
just
God.
kind of happens.
There's the TK, I know.
You and F-Dot, your ego could fill a room together. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, man.
It's a lot of fun. It's different to work on the other side, not being in the face of the community anymore. Mm-hmm. It's a double-edged sword because I'm getting to do what I love in teaching people and kind of editing and getting back into that, but getting out of the spotlight does kind of suck too. I miss all the people that used to watch my stream and stuff like that, but it's a double-edged sword. So
it's a hard choice.
Bittersweet.
I can imagine.
There you go.
Well, if people, go ahead, F-Dot, what do you got?
I was actually just going to completely change gears. Go ahead, do your thing.
I was going to say, for people that want to check out some of your additional content outside of this video, where can they check that out?
Nowhere right now. I haven't done anything other than this for like the last month.
Okay.
So literally my YouTube channel and stream, my Twitch channel have just fallen off. But if you want to go watch some of my older stuff, youtube.com/TrendKillV01, twitch.tv/TrendStreamV01, TrendKillV01 on Twitch will also redirect you to my stream.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming on, talking about this series, and maybe we'll have you back in the future to talk a little bit more detail as you get farther into them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You have a good one, man.
Peace. Peace, buddy. Good to see you.
All right. Kicked him off. We're good to go now. Didn't like that guy anyway.
So
Jeez. Didn't like that guy.
You're so trash. I wanted to ask him, like, so how's live? What are you doing? And
right?
And you cut me off, and you're like, all right, I'm going to obviously sign him off now.
Well, I only was allowed 10 minutes. You know, I was only allowed 10 minutes with him.
Oh, okay.
Because he has such a busy schedule, you know, he just can't fit it in. That's right. So,
pencil us in for a longer slot next time, TK. We want to learn the person.
Yeah, we want to know who you are, down to the sexy core, baby.
So, F. Streamer of the Week. Who is it this week and why?
So today, for this week, we went ahead and we picked a pro player that streams because he actually just started streaming. He is from Europe, but he keeps ungodly hours. So if you're European and not up at 3 in the morning for your time zone, you might miss him. His name is RealsX. He is a hunter for SK Gaming. His name is actually just Real. Made a Smite account. Reels was taken, so he just put an X at the end of it. But he's SK Gaming's very own hunter. He's it's a brand new stream, and he's really talented, and he joins curse and comms with the players that he plays against. But he's really calm and low key. That's a large part of that is I guess because he streams at like 2 in the morning his time.
Wow.
But the lights are off. He's just kind of.
What time is that for us?
That's 2 minus 5, so it's like 12 minus 3. That's like 9, so like 9 p.m.-ish.
We know numbers here at the Smite Update
This is
Show.
how we teach math too. We teach math, so you know that was awesome. See, 2 minus 12,
channel,
12 minus 3, 9.
You know,
okay, 9.
It made sense in my head, so why don't you chill? But yeah, I mean, the lights are off. You get like that nerd glow from his computer screen.
Yeah.
And his
Nerd
headphones.
glow?
Like, he just,
Can we get that copywritten, please?
Nerd glow.
And he just sort of like
Bottle it.
quietly dictates what's going on in his stream, in his game, and like, you know, it's kind of funny to see the guy that you saw go off the last couple of, well, his team hasn't been too happy as of late, but he started off the season really strong, and the dude that's going ahead and getting quadders in the SPL, he kind of like does it on stream quietly. And it's kind of really amusing to just hang out and watch. So go ahead and give him a follow. Like I said, he is a pro, but he's a brand new streamer. He's new to the whole stream gig. He found a webcam in his closet, dusted it off, and started streaming. So go ahead and give him a follow for sure.
Yeah, please make sure that you guys do. I have him still in fantasy, so hasn't gotten a lot of points recently, but I have faith. So we'll see what happens. So let's move into our next section of the show here after Smitten is done typing away over there.
Chat is too distracting. They're quite entertaining.
I had to have F. Close out and promise that he'll never read chat because he gets distracted. So let's talk about community emails here. We have 2 lengthy ones. We're probably not going to read through the whole thing. We had quite a few emails that we got in. Some of them were very repetitive. Some of them we've talked about before. So I thought we'd take some of these additional ones here. Smitten, I'll let you take the first one since you actually know this guy.
Okay, so this first email is from Jay, who's a very good friend of mine. He's a modern saint in chat. He did my original artwork for my YouTube and my Twitch whenever we first started streaming and doing videos. And a really great guy, so here's the email from him. It says, I've been in touch many times with Multiplay, given them many videos that I have casted and would like further experience in doing so. Multiplayer is set to push Smite in some of the next tournaments. What would you desire to be the format in this casting, bringing forth personal touches or traditional casting? With audiences breaking 50,000, teams such as Dignitas, SK, Cloud9, TSM, and more for various tournaments that gather huge audiences. They are happy to get more and more teams playing different and top title games, bringing Hearthstone tournaments and Smite into the limelight shortly. Now, I would adore some feedback on how to take the next step on developing into esports. I've been an international trainer living in Wales for 26 years, and my current career is stable but not inspirational. I've desired a career within esports and would happily
That didn't make it difficult.
Wow. Oh yeah, I know, right? I desire a career within esports and would happily work toward, but having to look after my wife, I find it more and more difficult. Would you stop typing the wrong? I'm trying to read it.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
But having to look after my wife, I find it more and more difficult to get free time to develop casting experience versus working habits. Let's go ahead and let Eptot take the question here because he's got a lot more experience casting than I do.
Okay, so I mean, I guess the core of the question is, so he's the first question he brings is, what would you desire to be the format of this casting, bringing forth personal touches or traditional casting? I guess it's all sort of down to the culture of A, the audience, and B, the style of tournament. If you're going after like high prize pools, and if you're going after high prize pools and large, trying to fill an arena, casting a tournament in the vein of Mystery Science Theater 3000 isn't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you want a little more professionalism there. You know, go ahead and break out your JCPenney blazers and stuff like that. But if you're just trying to like get a whole bunch of people to watch a stream, have more of a community vibe to it, maybe give out a lot of gems or something, then it's totally up to you. But I think that the door's a little more open to have just you know, 3 dudes chilling on a couch, eating some pizza, watching some competitive Smite. I think that that's something really cool that hasn't really been explored yet. But again, if you're trying to chase the big prize pools, prestigious awards, and basically garner respect, you're gonna have to go the traditional route, because as deceiving as it might be, you know, you might think of like Twitch chat as like dude spamming Kappa and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're viewing a large event, you want something to feel quote unquote real. So I think it's all up to what your culture or audience is really looking for.
Do you think right now our scene, I shouldn't say, I don't want to say oversaturated, but do you think that we're at a point right now where we, with the limited amount of tournaments that we have enough casters in the scene? Or no, you'd like to see more? And what I mean by that is, like, you know, we have our traditional casters that Hi-Rez likes to use for example, the SPL and the Challengers Cup, and that they've used in the weeklies. You know, yourself, Kret, DM Brandon, DryBear, Hi-Rez Bart. Now they've brought in, what's his name? Oh! Who'd they bring in? From Halo. Or Call of Duty, I'm sorry. What is his name? Why you let me hang, dude? You know his name. All right, whatever.
I do.
I'm just gonna skip over it. Skip over it.
No, what's his name? Octane.
Nope. Well,
Octane, come on.
Now I gotta check my Twitter.
Oh my God.
You're cheating. You can't cheat.
Gandhi.
You don't know
Scott Gandhi. Scott Gandhi. I found it.
Days.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
It's been like 3 days, 5 days in a row.
I love him, and I love his blue button-up that he wears every day, by the way.
Right? Isn't it amazing?
Am I the only one that...
somebody brought that up.
Am I the only one? Did he not get his clothing yet? That's my guess.
You're trust me, you're not the only one.
Okay.
Shout outs to my man Gandhi coming in fresh to the scene and putting on a good show casting in the booth, but it wouldn't be fair to everyone else we've chastised on this show if we didn't mention the fact that homie dressed like a cartoon character for the past week. He has the same outfit.
He has not changed. We always know. I'm like, wow, he's really repping the EU scene. Good for him, you know, really, you know, check that royal blue. But then, I'm like, cool. The first day he wore it, I'm like, looking good, you know, show him a Twitter post, whatever. Day 2, I'm like, all right, he's got the same shirt on.
I actually saw that Twitter post, and I laughed for about 20. That is so awkward.
Why is it awkward?
Homie's up there casting, and you don't say like, yo, I loved your call. You say, man, looking great in that blue shirt. Like, what is that about, dude?
Well, I didn't get a chance to check out his call yet, in regards to at that moment. You know, it was only about 5 minutes in, and I was like, oh, looking good in the blue shirt. But
so you literally tuned in and tweeted to a caster about their like sartorial choices?
Oh yeah, don't you? I know that you criticize what people wear when they're streaming. I know you do. Like, you know. All right, I'm not gonna pull out other examples because I don't want to put people on the spot. But anyways, moving on. From there, his second part of this question was asking, you know, he was kind of talking about getting into the scene and stuff like that. And his question was, how do you guys do it? in regards to, he talks about the fact, his current career, taking care of his wife, and then trying to get into, some of the scene as well with casting and stuff. So I guess, Smitten, how do you balance that with your life right now? Or is it a different situation for you than what this gentleman is saying?
What? This job plus, life?
Yeah, I guess for you then. You have school, correct? And then you also have this here.
I go to school full time. I stream full time. I teach dance. Like, I have a really special.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What dance do you teach? The merengue?
No, I teach belly dance. Anyways.
Really? Good for you.
Anyways.
How do I sign up?
Thank you for making this awkward. Anyways, so I have a really special predicament in the sense that I made myself my job on Twitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've put lots of hours in, with my YouTube channel. Like, I was in a really special place in my life that allowed me the free time to do all that, because I was going to school at the same time, but I also had a lot of free time when I'm not studying.
Yeah.
So so I just jumped on board, and I was like, I'm gonna make myself, a way to be here all the time. So it's really dependent upon your situation. Like, how much are you willing to let go for the possibility to gain here is really the question.
That's a good point. F-Dot, what about you? I mean, what is your situation exactly, and how do you balance it?
I mean, my situation now, this is kind of what I do. I'm involved in a lot of the Challenger Cup stuff, a lot of the esports stuff, behind the scenes, sort of making the gears turn manually because there's never any grease in the closet. But so this is sort of my gig now. But before I was just working and going to school, and I wound up I was going to school for sports broadcasting. Like, I wanted to be in sports radio, and I started working with Smite, and I saw it, and I used it, and I treated it sort of like an internship, in the sense that, like, well, I'm going to school a little bit for this broadcasting stuff, and this is broadcasting stuff. Let's roll the dice, because I was 24, 25 at the time, and I'm like, I won't be able to do this when I'm 40. Like, you get a shot.
Yeah.
So I gave it a shot, and worked out. Sometimes you just got to roll the dice. A lot of my life is peppered with a lot of dice rolling.
Would you say you're a gambling type of man? Would you say you're a gambling type of man?
I'm not. I'm just really into new experiences, and I commit to the fact that you get a certain amount of time, and there's no straight age or straight thing where it cuts off, where you can't roll the dice no more. But if it's something you're passionate about and you want to do it, go ahead and give it a shot. Not everybody winds up making $1 billion a month like PewDiePie, but you might be able to get a shot, and also recognizing where, all right, that didn't work out, time for me to do other things is important. So I just sort of rolled the dice because I believe that's important. So cheers to you, and if you're passionate about it, go for it. What?
Chat's calling you 50, by the way.
50? Like 50 Cent? Hell yeah, bro.
Don't encourage
Really?
that. Don't encourage that.
Hell yeah.
No. You were the lamest.
Yo, 50 Cent, man.
So I think I can
2003, yo.
I can relate a little bit with this guy in regards to the fact that he talks a little bit about he's married, and I can relate with that as well. My situation's a little bit different. I'm married. I have a son. I work full time, so for me it's a little bit different than F. and Smitten, where I do work that traditional 9 to 5. For me, it's more 7 to 5:36, depending on the day. I come home, spend time with my family and my son, and wait until the evenings to actually, pursue this. And for me, it's more of a hobby, whereas for these guys, F. and Smitten, it's more of a job for them. A few months back, I used to try to stream 5 days a week and then do this on the weekend. And finally, I made a decision, and I was like, I am not going to be a streamer that can compete. I should say compete, but that can pull the numbers by doing this daily. It just can't happen anymore. I can't commit that amount of time into it. So, I stream during the week when I have time, and on the weekends, Sunday, 4:30 after is kind of dedicated to the podcast and shows. So as these guys kind of said, it really comes down to, if you're going to make Smite everything in your life, kind of like what these guys are doing, they're managing the time and making it happen. For me, it fills in between the gaps, is what it works out for me with having a family and full-time job and stuff like that. So moving on from there, I'm not going to read the entire question here. I'm just going to go over some of the questions that we got from Janelle. She says, I've noticed that lately I can predict who wins just by what team gets what globals. How much do you guys think the globals affect the competitive scene, and do you think that there's a way to counter it? So we'll start out with this one first. She's more talking about the SPL scene. So either you guys feel free to jump in on this. Are the global ultimates really a huge factor right now when looking at the picks and bans, kind of predetermining the game?
Go ahead, F.
Globals are mad strong, dude. Globals are ridiculously strong. Apollo is
still top tier.
Strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
still top tier.
A lot of pro players talk about how strong globals are and that they might be too strong. That's a thing. I see. All right. So basically, I think the problem lies. Short answer: yes, I do think globals have a lot to do with the success of a team, but it's not. It's obviously not the entire. It's not the entire equation. You can win without having more globals than your opponent, but
it's just a huge advantage, is all, right?
Yeah, I mean, because learning how to play against globals, which is something that we see teams slowly adapting to. A lot of the pros say what MLB Star's saying in chat, that cooldowns need to be doubled. I spoke to a lot of players that would like to see 120-second cooldown on Athena ult and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's a novel idea, but the map in Smite is very small when you compare it to other maps in the MOBA genre. And I think as long as there's a trade-off, and that trade-off is lane control, lane presence. So, for example, duo lane, you have 2v2, and then solo lane needs help, you Athena ult over, all of a sudden it's a 2v1 lane. You, as the team that doesn't have the Athena, need to pressure that and make use of that. And, at the end of the day, I think globals are something that frustrate the top-tier players because they frustrate everybody, because your plan sort of gets out of whack when Giannis ults over to the right lane. But I think that's just sort of something that is part of the game, and I don't really think that too many globals are completely overpowered. I think it's all right to be frustrated by some mechanics in the game.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of teams, when you're looking at the picks and bans, and then afterwards when the casters are breaking down the team comps and stuff like that, and they're starting to pile up, oh, well, so and so's ultimate stacks very nice with this ultimate, and this stacks nice with this ultimate, and so I think the casters are revealing a lot of this and pushing this more and more now. So I think people are like, oh, that's determining it. But in reality, nothing I don't feel like has changed dramatically. Like, there's been a huge shift where all of a sudden, a few gods came out that their globals are astronomically changing the way the competitive scene is viewed. But I just think the globals are being pushed and people are being educated a little bit more as to how well they go ahead and merge together and combo together. And we're seeing it. I love it with the SPL right now, and even in the Challengers Cup, where you're seeing, just such a high caliber of play with how everything is stacking together and the synergy between the teams. I think that's super apparent right now.
Yeah, I'd like to see globals really not be used in an escape manner. I think it's really frustrating when you see a Thor or a Thanatos or an Athena ult out of just being in the wrong spot. You should be punished for being severely out of position, and the ability to just go and hop up on your chariot and do a swag lap and then fly to base. I think there's some
tell me it's not the best feeling in the world, though, when Apollo goes to take off and you're playing against him and you get him down just before he takes off. The best feeling in the world. I love that. I love those type of situations, but I understand what you're going with. I understand what you're going with, where the ultimate is there, and you're in the way you're viewing it as an offensive move, not a defensive, I have to get out type of an escape situation.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because it's just incredibly forgiving, and I'm just not a fan of forgiving stuff. I think if you screw up, you should just screw up. And you should eat it. You should eat dirt. That should be a thing. I like the way, and a lot of players don't, But I like the idea of Athena. Numbers are really intense. That's a different conversation. But the idea of Athena in the sense that she has this ultimate that's global and she can go to a completely different place, but it's not a cataclysm. It's not a jump intoxicate. It's not an initiate. One of Jeff Hindler's old, long-time problems with Athena was the last Guardian he ever leveled to 10 because he just didn't like the fact that she doesn't have a true initiate. Okay. You charge in and you taunt, but your taunt is your setup and your peel and your initiate. All of a sudden, things start to be a little fishy. I'm not DM Brandon trained. I do think Athena is fantastic.
Yep, I
DM
agree.
Brandon thinks she sucks. I don't understand why. But
did you watch the games today? Come on now.
But like, there's a trade-off there: the lack of a true initiate, and some of the global presence don't really lose anything for that. Some like they just don't, and I think that's a problem.
Well, the second half of the question was, what are the ways of countering it? Okay, so the ways to countering global ultimates, clearly, if you're in a pick ban situation, ban global ultimates. Like if Geb isn't banned, like Athena always gets banned, at least whenever I'm running my pre-mades. Like, we always make sure that if they have somebody with global presence, say Janus, because Janus rotations are, like, ridiculously overpowered.
Yep.
So, like, if the other team has a global ultimate, we usually try to make sure that we can secure a global presence as well. So that's a kind of way of balancing that out, is if they've got one, get one too. I mean, it's like playground mentality there. The other way that you can really say you're not in a pick ban situation, warding and having superior communication with your teammates to know whenever, hey, I just saw Thor go this way, his ult's up, he could be trying to gank you.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of communication is obviously vital in Smite, and even more so whenever you're going up against, like, an Athena, Apollo, Janus team. Like, and, of course, warding, deep wards.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yep, that's a very good point.
I think the biggest counter to globals is baiting them out. I think it's something that we're starting to see teams do. This week has been a blur, but I can't recall which team. But essentially, they baited a Janus, a Janus and an Athena rotation, and then they just took Gold Fury. Like, solo lane acted a fool. They tried to kill him, and then Duo was like, "No tap, dude." I just picked up a Gold Fury. And I think that's the sort of counterplay. You need to bait it out, or you need to, if it happens and it's successful, realize the other situations. I mean, is that a counter or is that not? It's a different story. But, teams are starting to pick up on this global meta, if you want to call it that. You're right. It has been highlighted recently, and teams are, that's fresh on everybody's mind. So, sort of thinking about extra planning and stuff like that is... we're starting to see it. So that's how true meta shifts. An idea takes prominence, people learn to counter it, people counter the counter, a new idea takes prominence, etc., etc. So I think we'll just see more smart play coming out from people, which I kind of like.
We'll see.
Yeah, both really good points. The second part of this Janelle's question, a little bit different, but has to do with the esports scene. And this is definitely something that a lot of people are talking about right now. Due to all the recent DQs happening lately in the competitive scene, what do you think the pro players or Hi-Rez can do to prevent this? This is more along the lines of what we saw like this past week with disqualifications happening because of combat pauses. And it's... okay, throw it to you, F. You had to deal with this last week, but then we also saw it as well in the SPL too. So like every week we're seeing it. And we saw a post from Hi-Rez Bart that was like, we'll be reviewing it during the bye week. This is something that we're looking into. So let's have an open discussion about it. How do we see? We know there's a problem. All three of us know there's a problem. So what are your thoughts on a way to correct it? What do you got?
Well, just checking with your team. Like, hey, this person's DCing. All right, everybody good? Get out of combat. Stop fighting stuff. Are we good? All right, pause.
Easy mode. What do you got?
One of my favorite. I just want to put this out there. One of my favorite things about Twitch chat lately is that whenever there's a spectator bug or anything happens with the replay, chat just goes DQ boys. That's a combat pause.
Yeah.
Every time you just
it's because it also says game paused at the top when like they jump out. At least on the SPL, when they jump out, it just says game paused. So it doesn't help the situation at all because everyone's like, oh, another pause.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. It's fantastic. It's really funny.
Maybe this is this is just people not reading the rules.
Well, no, I mean people by now know what combat pauses are.
By now,
I mean,
yeah.
that's something.
But
That's something that the organization really stresses. The league really, 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 really stresses that you can't combat pause.
Oh yeah, I mean, with Mortality, with my involvement with Mortality, they literally tell me, like, each week an admin comes in before they start the game and is like, do not combat pause, do not combat pause, do not. So, like, you can't push it anymore, I feel like.
Yeah.
Than what they're already doing. Yeah.
The rules are gone over with teams before the league starts, and that is a rule that admins repeat on a daily basis. They make sure that you guys know that. And MLC Stealth, I love every time this happens. MLC Stealth just tweets out, dude, it's not hard to not pause. You have to not do something. It's not that difficult. That said.
Uh-oh. Here it comes. Drum roll.
That said, I mean, the rule can be a little haphazard, but at the end of the day, black and white really saves a lot of potential integrity problems. At the end of the day, the league reigns supreme, and the league will say whether or not they think is something. If the rule is gray, it'll be up to the league, and players and fans will just have to accept it. But if it's black and white, it's a lot easier, especially when it's something that is 100% avoidable. Is it a fantastic situation? No, but it's the path of least resistance. There's too many puddles to step in on the road of a gray area rule, whereas a black and white rule that, as I said, is very simple to follow, and many pro players have gone on record saying it's rather simple to follow. It's just better to be black and white. We'll see what happens with the conversation, because Hi-Rez actually does. Those aren't just appeasing Reddit threads that come out.
No, not at all.
A thread like that. They actually do have a conversation. They sit down with some players and they talk about it internally, and they figure out what the best situation is and the best way to handle it is. But I really think that it's the best situation for a weird situation. I mean, there's no precedent, so it's just better off that way. And I see a lot of calls for, like, why not just have the pause function only work if you're not in combat? Well, just don't pause in combat. The one scary situation that I don't like is global ultimates. Thor ults in the middle of the jungle. Nobody knows. DC pause. What do you do now?
Yeah.
That's what I don't like, because pausing will break that ability. And that's part of the reason combat pauses are illegal. Everybody always talks about you pause in combat, the person getting ganked can take a 360 look at their surroundings and think about what they want to do. The ganker can do the same thing. Who knows who's going to get the advantage, etc., etc. But pausing also just flat breaks certain abilities. Thor ultimates will not work.
Does that happen with Apollo as well? Like, you're cruising around
I'm not too sure on Apollo.
Okay.
But some abilities just break.
Yeah.
So that's another reason for no combat pauses. And as I said, it's not doing something, not executing. It's not as if we ask you to press a button within 7.6 seconds of somebody disconnecting. We're literally asking you not to do anything at all. Just continue playing the game. And then when it's safe, go ahead and pause. Does it open up a situation where teams can get kind of cheeky and be like, oh, that guy's obviously lagging, let's attack? Sure, but we'll see.
Well, you talk about two things there. One is the fact of the repercussions on the game, like with Thor or other global ultimates that are affected by it, that cause a problem. And then the second thing is on the competitive side of things, what we're seeing with actually being, happening in the middle of combat, giving you the opportunity, to look around, stuff like that. The person that emailed in asking this question, Janelle, their recommendation was, going back to it was, instead of worrying about you in or out of combat, is a vote just like you have a surrender vote. You have a vote for pausing. Would look a different color, stuff like that. She had said, oh, how about F9 or F10? Like, you hit it, the vote comes up real quick. You can, just to be sure that you want to do it. Not a bad idea. I don't know that I would be against it. Would be helpful compared to just typing pause in those types of situations. So I think there's a lot of... Go ahead, what do you got?
That might actually work.
Yeah.
I really like that. Kind of like having it like an F6 option where just like, we're like, okay, can we pause? and then it will wait to pause until everybody's like out of combat. Like,
yeah,
that actually may be like the perfect solution.
And it also that something also alongside with that could also then be controlled by how many times you can pause per team, because it would be a built-in mechanic to limit it. Now, granted, you could still pause during combat. So, if you think about it, kind of like what we talked about, F. had kind of mentioned, do you allow this to occur during combat or not? That's kind of the thing that's up in the air about it. I understand. There's benefits to both sides. Do you not allow this function to be enabled until you're out of combat, or do you allow it in combat? It's we kind of talk about it. You can educate players as much as you want and talk about it as much as you want and hammer it in as much as you want, and it really
it's still gonna happen.
Exactly. So I think that's what Hi-Rez is doing during this bye week, is taking some. Do they need to put something in game to limit it or to organize the pauses a little bit better? We'll have to soon to find out. But it's a shame that we see this. Now, how many combat pauses have you run into, F. in the Challengers Cup? Yeah, that many, huh?
Almost every single game, some uber nerd esports versus Team Feeders comes up, and they're like, yo, Team Feeders combat paused, and we got to get the admins and take a look at the replay, because there is a little bit of adminning involved in that. Okay. You take a look at the replay and you see if they're actually in combat or not, and no, they're not. Apollo is sitting on his tower and you're in the middle lane. I don't care what you were doing, you're an idiot. So
I'm gonna stop interrupting you today. I promise. I promise.
You're allowed to interrupt. F. and I do it all the time. Just jump in. It's okay.
I had a question. I just had a question about it, because any rando can do /pause, right? Any rando from your
anyone
group.
on the team.
Yeah.
There's no tournament rule about who could. There's no designated pauser. Doesn't have to be the captain, etc. But apart from my joke, yeah, we have had some combat pauses come out. We've had some combat pauses happen in the finals, unfortunately. We've had some combat pauses. Week 2 was pretty rife with stuff like that. So, it's just a matter of education, and we are. When it comes to rules in the Challenger Cup about, there are very strict timings when you start games, and when players in the SPL, we have a lot of mortality showing up right now in chat. Players in the SPL are used to it. You get 5 minutes in between games. It's up to both teams if they want to take it. If there's a disconnect before the game starts, contact an admin immediately. It's up to admin discretion if you get more time. Past that, 3 pauses, 9 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And with the Challenger Cup, we're a little more understanding that some of these players aren't seasoned. They haven't been in the competitive scene for a long time.
That's a good point. Understandable.
Nice, and we're understanding when it comes to interpretation of certain rules. But combat pause is a basic and incredibly impactful rule, and that's something that we can't really budge on, whether it's the round of 128 million or the finals. It's just something that it changes the game, it changes the way things are played, and there really is no returning from it. And at the end of the day, if you win the Challengers Cup and y'all make it to the SPL, that's the big stage. And although we saw that happen once with Cogred and Dignitas, that's not something that we want. Not just for, and it sucks for players because they lose they lose the game, obviously, but it's hard for a lot of people to see outside of the competition. There's also a show going on. It sucks for the fans. Yeah. The fans don't get the game that they want. That Dignitas cognitive gaming game is a perfect example. Cogred was winning. Dignitas could have came back, maybe. Who knows? We'll never know because we lost that game. Because nobody gets to see it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not good for Hi-Rez either. They end up being the guys that are like, well, combat balls happen. We're sticking to the rules. Here's what occurs. The other team takes the win, type of deal. So I can agree as well. It's not the best of situations. We as a community asked for pausing. We asked for it for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
And now that we have it, it's a nightmare and it's a headache. I understand why Hi-Rez is taking some time to review it over this bye week that we have coming up next week. Outside of that, any last comments for this email that we got in regarding competitive scene with global alts and also combat pausing?
Great questions.
Yeah.
I like them.
Good questions. Global ults, they're pretty strong. Combat pause, just don't do it.
If you guys want to email in the show, we will go ahead and check it out every week. Smite update at gmail.com. please go ahead and email the show. We try to read as many as we can, but we get a lot of repetitive ones, a lot of nonsense ones. So I go through them and just pick out some legitimate ones that are available, and we go ahead and talk about them the following week. Also, if you guys are enjoying the show, please take some time to go directly below this video stream, click on streamer feedback. Once you get to streamer feedback, select Octane Pro, and then go ahead and give the show some feedback. Hi-Rez reads it. They let us know that, hey, we're doing something right, we're doing something wrong. We should keep the show on Smite game. We should get rid of it. Your feedback's important. So please make sure you guys go down below. Takes all of 30 seconds, streamer feedback, and leave your feedback directly for us. Also, once again, guys, we're going to move into community tournaments that are going on right now. If you're a player and you're looking to get more involved with some of the tournaments in the scene, you're not quite at the SPL level yet. You're not quite, you feel that you're not quite at the Challengers Cup level where anybody can join, though. There's two other outlets that are available for you that are a little bit more well-known. We have SmiteCentral.com and also TierMonster.com, where you guys can go ahead and join a multitude of different tournaments that are going on throughout the week. There's quite a few that go on from 3vs3s to 5vs5s. You have arena, siege tournaments as well. So go check them out, SmiteCentral.com and also TierMonster.com.
Everyone is ready to join the Challenger Cup. Everyone.
I'll join it. I'll join with my pre-made group. Let's go.
I actually really encourage you to, Smith.
Do it.
Really?
Because the Challenger Cup, seriously, because the Challenger Cup is a path for players to make it to the SPL Shore, but it's also a spot just to, get some competitive experience under your belt. You might not even think you're going to do #1, but try to win a couple of games. We have a lot of people that just come out to have fun. 5 Angry Hindus. It's a team that likes to make fun of Hindu Man. And, they pick Kumbhakarna, and they just have a good time. And, obviously they try to win. They don't just troll the game. Yeah. But it's a fun time to come out. We like to cast a lot of the unknowns in the first couple of rounds just so everybody gets their time on screen. We have a lot of people that just come out for fun. So, hell yeah.
Read what iRapper just wrote.
What did
iRapper says, "Can I join the Challengers on my ult?"
Dude, can I scream?
So
can I?
Do it,
can I?
Davion, you'll get banned.
Can I scream at you right now as your team manager? Can I please do it? Do not do it.
Oh right, we got Mr. Manager over here.
Mr. Manager's in the house.
That's right.
He's gonna ground you, Rapper. Watch out, dude.
That's right.
But actually, this is week 3. Week 4 is this is the bye week, and this is the roster lock. Which means, Raffer,
that's right.
You really do want to leave Mortality.
Yes, the top seeded EU scene.
You could go ahead and that's what the rules state. 4th week is when you really got to make your permanent decision.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Manager? Am I correct on those rules?
You are correct, young man.
What article of rules are those, Mr. Manager?
If you can say off the numbers, maybe I should know it. Do you know it?
You should tell me first.
I don't know it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. Have you seen how long? Have you seen how long those rules are? I cannot quote them off the top of my head.
Are you serious? Why? That's your job as a manager.
Nope.
Job?
Nope. I don't. What I'm saying is I don't know the article number. Screw you guys. Screw you guys.
Shame.
All right, let's move on here. So
3.3F for the next time for future reference.
Thank you. You smart ass. All right, moving on. Esports update. So we had a little bit of information last week for the TSM Invitational. FDOT was so eager to find out more last week. So Hi-Rez listened, and they went ahead and came out with some more information on the TSM Invitational. I will go ahead and post it in chat, going over some of the details on this. So it'll be in Stockholm, Sweden. It will be on actually next weekend, will be on the 20th. Players are arriving on the 19th, and they'll be staying through to the 21st. We have a handful of teams going. We have TSM, we have SK, Mortality Esports, and Exposed Secrets. So we have 4 teams going. In the article that I posted in chat, I'll post it one more time, they go over the fact that it's a single elimination format, but there's only 4 teams. So the semifinals will be best of 3. So pretty much 2 teams up top here on the bracket, 2 teams below, best of 3. Then what happens is they move on to a grand finals, which is a best of 5. So this is pretty exciting. It's kind of cool to see, this is just, I want to call it a smaller tournament that's kind of going on outside of outside of the traditional SPL or Challengers Cup. I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited to see these 4 teams competing up against each other in a LAN environment.
Thumbs up for LANs, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm looking through it, and it looks like I'm just trying to see here. You know, TSM definitely, you know, has the LAN experience. SK Gaming, without a doubt, there. Mortality Esports. I don't know that any of them do except for Sayo. And then Exposed.
Radford just looks like a kid that played Halo. I feel
Right?
like
Right?
Have you
He's
seen?
got that,
Have you seen
like,
his hair? That hair. That looks.
yeah, it's the hair and like that shirt he's wearing in the pre-game team role. He's got like this like aggressive Esports shirt with like a paintball stain on it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
homie just looks like he yelled at people on the internet playing Halo, so maybe him. But I don't know about the rest of the guys. You're right. Sayo obviously has extensive experience. Used to be on Cloud9.
Yep.
But I don't really know about the rest of the dudes.
Yeah. Not that I know of, to be honest with you. And then finally from there, Exposed Secrets. A handful of guys there. You know, you got Zalia on there. You got Half Devil, Funball, stuff like that. So you got a handful of guys. So there's a lot of LAN experience here. So I'm looking forward to it coming up here. So once again, this is next week, guys. I believe, okay, it will be on Smite Game. I wanted to check to see if it would be. It will be on Smite Game, streamed on there on Saturday. So make sure you guys do join in. It looks like it starts actually at 6 a.m. on Saturday of next week. So bright and early.
God.
So I'll go ahead and post one more time in chat for you guys if you guys want to read more
That's fine
details.
for me. I wake up at 4:30 on Sundays, baby. Let's go 6 a.m.
I will be up to watch as well. Should be rather exciting.
And if you want to get woken up, just come talk to me in TeamSpeak or some crap. This is how I am at 5 a.m. when I'm getting my team ready to do the broadcast. We're just like, yo, how's everybody doing? Let's get it going, guys. Challenger Cup.
I don't know what 4 o'clock on Sunday morning looks like unless I haven't slept from Saturday.
Oh, it's beautiful, darling.
I'm so jealous of people like you sometimes, I swear. So, let's jump in to the SPL, and then we'll go over the Challengers Cup here for our esports update. So I'll go ahead and post in chat the standings right now. We do have Week 3 coming to a close, moving into Week 4, which is a bye. Starting out in the North American scene, we see Cognitive Red right now, sitting right now in first. And let me go ahead and swap this over to full screen for you folks. So you can go ahead and see Cognitive Red now, 8-2. Looking, you know, it was a very close race with Cognitive Prime for a little while, but it looks like Cognitive Red has taken the lead quite a bit. And now we have Cognitive Prime just behind them at 6-3. Snipe at 5-3, so very close. Team Dignitas at 5-4, which has made a very strong comeback over the past few weeks. Big surprise after week 1, I'll be honest with you. Fat Chunks Assemble 2-7, and Thirst at 1-8. Moving on from there, the European scene, Mortality Esports sitting at 7-3, Cloud9 HyperX 6-4, Exposed Secrets 6-4, Team Solo Mid 6-4, SK Gaming 3-7, and Team Coast 2-8. And earlier today, there actually was an opportunity with SK to have 4 teams tied for first at 6-4.
I wanted it so bad, dude.
So let's talk about the NA scene a little bit. You know, surprises, upsets, thoughts. What do you guys got? What do you got, F. We'll start out with you.
All right. Well, basically, I just wanted to. I have a really. It's a piece I've been working on for a while about one of the more hyped up teams. It's a long statement, so just bear with me. There's a lot of research that went into it, but boosh.
Boosh to God.
But no, I mean, Cognitive Red today kind of just proved what a lot of people been talking about for a while. Cognitive Red has incredible individual skill on their team. Incredible individual skill. In fact, like, you sit there and you're like, okay, casters talk about this a lot. In the picks ban phase, they go, all right, look, we want to ban Thor, so Zero Guards doesn't get Thor, but we want to ban Eonic, so so-and-so doesn't get him. Yeah. We got to ban Mercury. There's too many players. You can't really ban out Cog Red. You really got to ban out what you don't want to play because they're pretty damn good. In that last match we just watched, I understand that Cog Red versus Fat Chunks Assemble are on opposite sides of the standings, but we saw multiple instances of 2v1, and as everybody's letting us know in chat, Boosh took on an entire team by himself playing Raw.
Frank the
Granted,
Tank.
There was a lot of gold on his team,
yeah.
And he had a heal from Raw, but, you know, he turned into a fight with 10% HP, so, you know, homie knows how to play, so.
Yeah, I mean, Cog Red is definitely the team to beat right now, and a lot, especially to the point where they're pretty much the giant right now. I mean, when you're looking at North America, you know, Cog Red is terrifying, to be honest with you. You know, we do have a very close, scoring right now between Cognitive Prime, Snipe, and Team Dignitas. Very close together right now. I'm really eager to see what happens in Week 5 with these teams because, whoa.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you think about it, we have a week. You could say we have a week off, but for the players, they actually should be taking this time now to practice and strategize even more in Week 4 than they have any other week to go into Week 5 ready to turn around some of their scoring and their play styles, because we're halfway through right now. We're at that halfway through mark, so it's super important. And coming to the very end of the SPL determines a lot for these teams. I give kudos to Team Dignitas for North America. Week 1, we were a little skeptical, but we were kind of holding our breath because we knew, brand new team pretty much, 3 players swapped out, 2 players that were veterans on that team, what would happen. And we did see they did get that win, defaultly because of that combat pause, but that still helps them out. So even if they didn't win there, I mean, they would have been still doing well with 4 wins if that didn't happen. So I think I'm eager to see what happens in Week 5. Are we gonna? Because right now, Team Dignitas just continue to climb those ranks, and next up to bat, really for them to beat out there is Snipe to get above them for top 3. Smitten, any thoughts on the North American scene right now?
I'm so excited about it. I actually got to pick up on a couple of games.
Yeah.
Only for the first half of it, though.
Okay.
Like I said, I was sitting in class trying to pay attention to SPL. My teacher gets all in my business. Anyways, I got to see that game between Dig and Cogred where they had the combat pause, but I didn't get to see the combat pause part, which I'm really upset about because I wanted to see chat just explode with all the drama. I missed it. So sad. I know, right? I'm
I want to give I'm going to cut you off because I just want to give a shout out to Cogred and how gracefully they handled that. They were all just like, yeah, that sucks. Oh well.
Red.
And I mean, 10 minutes after the fact, Divios tweeted I really like Dairy Queen. Thank you. They just handled it really maturely. So
yeah,
there's a lot of salt in the scene when it comes to social media. So.
Correct. Yeah, that could have gone either direction, where you could have seen them rage about it and stuff like that, and cause a huge problem. You don't want that. And I think just as you said, I forget it was you or someone else. I forget where I read it. Somebody had put on Twitter, props to them for the way they handled it or something like that. That was you. Okay, I couldn't remember. But that's a very good point. One could say, they could have exploded all over Twitter, making it a huge deal, but they didn't. So very professional, manner coming from them. So looking at the EU scene, this was quite exciting to see the possibility of having 4 teams, 6-4, and tied for first seed going into Week 4. We didn't have that. At this point right now, Mortality sitting at 7-3, Cloud9 just behind them at 6-4, along with Exposed Secrets and Team Solo Mid. So let's talk about some of those teams right there in the top 4. Very, very close race between Exposed Secrets, Team Solo Mid. Team Solo Mid wasn't doing so great the first few weeks of the SPL, but have definitely turned that around. Cloud9 has definitely stayed in the top 3 without a doubt. What are you giggling about? What are you giggling about?
I just listened to Mr. Manager really break down everything in the European scene.
Right?
Not at all. So my question for you guys was, what do you guys think right now for SK sitting at 3-7 and Team Coast at 2-8? Because I'll be honest, they are nowhere near the top 4. Nowhere near.
No, they're not. And that was a prediction of mine. I figured that SK would stay up top. And
you couldn't have predicted Team Coast though. I feel like they looked so good at the last EU event.
They looked good. I honestly expected Coast and Exposed Secrets towards the bottom of the list, honestly.
Okay.
But SK Gaming really surprised me a little bit. I kind of feel that, and this is total, third person from the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. 2 things happened. SK had a big confidence bubble going on with how well they did towards the end of the season, and then with the North American regionals and the beginning of the SPL, and then they lost that game to Cloud9. They lost that game to Cloud9 in a single fight over a single fire giant in the games after that, we saw a lot of hesitation to start a fight over Fire Giant. There was a lot of hesitation and just an unwanting to really start fights that the team looked a little hesitant on. And that lack of confidence, I think, really hurt them. And some inner team... It's really easy to be a team together while you win. And while you lose, that's not so easy. And how individuals take that situation to heart and deal with it privately or publicly can definitely hurt a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's a little bit of confidence issues, and I think that there's a little bit of attitude adjustments that need to go on in order for SK Gaming to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, because I think that in a number of their 7 losses, they played better than 7 losses earn, but A, not all those games, and B, it doesn't matter because they're holding that L.
Yeah.
So they need to eke out, they need to stop being so hesitant in their fights, and they need to figure out some of the things that are happening inside their team before they proceed.
Yeah, very good point. Smite, any thoughts for you on the EU scene? Did you get a chance to check any of that out?
I didn't.
You didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, I wanted to at least make an NA. What?
No, not you. I opened up a thing that I shouldn't have.
Oh God.
So,
why would you do that?
I thought it was important.
Now you're making me feel self-conscious.
No, I'm sorry. I'm actually really sorry. Continue.
Just kidding.
Okay.
You're so easy to troll. Anyways, no, I didn't get to check out any of the EU games. I will by next week. I swear.
All right.
Chat. But I love you. I'm done now.
All right. Well,
I almost said it.
tomorrow, 15th on Monday, there's only 2 games going on: Snipe versus Thirst and Snipe versus Cognitive Prime that will be going on.
Yes, that's a reschedule due to spectator issues. Yes.
Okay.
See, you do follow along.
I do. I pick up little bits.
So then there will be the break after Monday that will be going on. And then we see things picking back up on the 24th of September on Wednesday, where we have Cloud9 versus Team Solo Mid, which will be a great game to watch, both sitting at 6 and 4. Team Coast and SK, both at the bottom of the bracket for EU. That will be kicking off there as well. Team Dignitas and Cognitive Prime. This will be a great game. And Snipe versus Cognitive Red. That will be going on Wednesday when we come back from things for the SPL. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Challengers Cup this past week. And F-Dot, you want to give us a little overview of what people might have missed if they didn't get a chance to tune in this week?
Europe, we had Agilitas and Potato Boys in the finals. I stopped at the end because I want to record myself saying that and just play that back
every week.
Because that's what's going to happen. And Potato Boys like to play interesting picks in the finals. This week we saw Poseidon jungle with a Thanatos middle lane. A lot of fun stuff coming out on the side of Potato Boys. Agilitas kind of just work hard, play hard all the time, doing their stuff. So good to see stuff there. Upcoming Stars had really fantastic games. Shout out to Qin. Qin is the old support or old sub spot for some of the pro teams, so it's cool to see him up there. But North America is really where the bee's knees comes when it comes to competition, which is, I mean, this is really the first time that we can say that about these 2 divisions.
Okay. Before,
back in the day, it was sort of like, you'd see on Reddit all the time and in stream chat, North America's such a snooze fest. It's always Dignitas and Cognitive Gaming, and well, now that's kind of the deal with Europe, although there's 2 other teams in there. And North America, it's a free-for-all. Vicious and Delicious, you might remember Vicious and Delicious from the team that turned into Exertus Gaming or Esports.
Esports, I think it's Esports.
One of those things.
Yep.
And then they eventually turned into Cognitive Gaming.
Yeah.
That's where the famous Barracuda came from.
Yep.
Vicious and Delicious is actually the brand of Heater, a longtime pro, and his team is made up of basically people like him, people that have been in and out of the scene and really enjoyed the beauty of flirting with the competitive scene for a long time now. So with Vicious and Delicious, the lineup is Ecliptium, Wubba, who's met Yankee, Heater off the team, who's Kabam, and Skilodon, who's actually just an amazing jungler. If your team needs a jungler, start looking at him, but his team might be mad at you. Then look, yeah. Rambozos are also a really good team. Rambozos, they come out to play week in, week out. They're sort of the same idea, where they're players that have flirted with it. We've got no longer Digaduro, Chris Pocket, Takati, Fitty, and the Paradox, players that have always sat just beneath that pro level, seeing what they can do, maybe make it to the SPL. We've got Apex Predator, who are kind of dudes that Glickstick you might know from Joust, I believe, but they're just generally decent players. And then you have the team that hasn't made it to the finals yet, called, what do they call themselves this week? Five Angry Men is what they're going under now.
Okay.
Best, Homafay, BCHM, Cyberslane, and Mace to the Face. Rumor has it Pain Deviande will be joining the team soon. They haven't made it anywhere near the finals. With a lineup featuring the Best and Mace to the Face.
Wow, that's quite surprising, to be honest with you.
Exactly. And that's kind of what's cool about it. Because if I told you the Best and Mace to the Face are on a team together in the Challenger Cup, you guys would say, oh, they're seed number 1, right?
Yeah, that's what I would expect, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, they are...
Are you taking a look at the standings right now?
Here, dude. They're like
not even in the standings.
They're up here. This is straight because they've changed their team names.
Okay.
Not there.
Okay.
But so they're not. They don't reach the finals. That's not a thing. They play against Rambozos, Vicious and Delicious, that team Apex Predator I talked about. This last week they were taken out by that team Apex Predator, and it's just kind of nasty. You've got a lot of talent in this North American scene, and for teams that are in the SPL right now and need to really think about what they're doing as far as rosters are concerned or something, there's not too many of those teams. But Challenger Cup in North America has a lot of talent, rife for the picking, So, and I didn't mention all the teams. I mentioned a lot of teams, and I'm holding back. So, as of right now, Vicious and Delicious and the Rambozos are number 1 and 2 in NA, and the Geotoss and Potato Boys are number 1 and 2 in Europe. But, like I said, North America is kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, after first place, with Vicious and Delicious and Agilitas, it's, they're quite up there in points, but then right below there for second and third, not too far away, especially fourth too. So pretty exciting to see what'll happen moving into week 5 moving forward. Any last comments on any of the esports scene this week? Anything that you guys wanted to talk about regarding Challengers Cup, SPL, or any other esports player-related news?
I think we are on the verge of some pretty epic games. Like, it just feels like we've just been building up and building up and building up, and all these huge upsets, all this drama surrounding it. I think that we're just gonna finally see the actual storm of SPL coming up. I'm super hyped.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see how close everything is as we start to get into week 5 and then into week 6. With the how close we are now, just going into the bye week, should be rather exciting to say the least. I'm excited for some really good competition, it's going to determine a lot for these players. So there's a lot on the line. If you were slacking in the first few weeks, you really don't have that option to now moving forward into the final weeks. So let's go ahead and talk about the patch here. We kind of want to go. What do you got? Go for it, please. Oh, actually, one more thing. We had no infractions this week. Thank God.
Yes, no infractions this week. As far as rules infractions go, but we had some professionalism infractions. And I got beef with that.
Okay. Please share with the group, and then we'll talk about it. What do you got?
So recently, Adonis has been getting a lot of flack for certain opinions that he puts out in the air as he is on the pregame show with Kelly.
I think I read a little bit about this, yeah.
And he recently tweeted some observations out. Players weren't happy about it, and there's been a battle of the twit-longers between everybody, and that's pretty silly, just kind of, whatever. But basically, I got a lot of problems with this. We are in a professional league right now. The SPL, and to a certain extent, the Challenger Cup, is an extension of the professional league.
Yeah.
I hold the players in the Challenger Cup to a lower regard in this, in the sense of personal responsibility. But when it comes to the Smite Pro League, personal responsibility is numero uno. And personal responsibility meaning how you handle yourself in public, meaning social media. And there are people whose jobs it is to give observations. There are people whose jobs it is to give opinions. There are people whose jobs it is to analyze, and those jobs are not mutually exclusive. Some people have opinions based on analysis and numbers. Some people have opinions and observations based on just general game sense, etc., etc. And that's going to happen, and it won't always be positive. That is something, as a professional player, players need to just adjust to, and they need to react to it. There's been just far too much outcry on Twitter and other social media that, doesn't really paint the right picture for our scene, and it's disrespectful to both players, casters, and everything in between. I don't think that there's a lot of stuff that really needs to be said, and sometimes you just gotta, as Hindu Man would sing, let it go. People are going to talk negatively when you lose. Losing is an important part of life, and knowing why you lost is important. And as I said, there are certain people whose jobs it is to say, this game happened this way, and this is one of the factors that lost. And if it's an individual player, that needs to be stated. There's a big difference between saying Iraffer is complete garbage and his team will never win with him on his roster, and saying Iraffer had a bad outing, he needed a couple of more kills in order to eke this win out. There's a big difference. Yeah. And I haven't really seen anybody in our scene do the former. So that really is annoying to me. I'm kind of just not okay with that, especially when there are fantastic examples in our professional scene. We have Cognitive Red. Everybody likes to joke about how young they are. Yeah. They took their disqualification
better than most the other teams probably would.
I was gonna make a comment on that and be like, wow, I was impressed by the way they did it because they're so young. And I know people would be like, oh, well, blah blah blah. Well, I'm sorry, but like traditionally when you are younger, like 14, 15, 16, and something doesn't go your way, you complain about it, but I understand what you were saying, and they went completely against the grain in that fashion, and
exactly,
we saw them do some great things.
And you see mortality suffer a loss. We have Iraffer in chat saying like, yo, when we lose, we go out and we grab some food and we just chill out, and that's what's going to happen. And speaking specifically to a specific tweet, people's responses was Adonis had tweeted about an individual player and tagged his Twitter in it. And, the response was like, oh, don't tag me, I don't follow you for a reason. And the tag isn't to include you in the conversation. The tag is because that's essentially a press release. And anybody reading that tweet that wants to know about the recent SK Gaming game can click on Real's name and see his profile. That's what that's about. It's not about drama. It's not about high school. It's just about
naming names or anything. Like, this is who I'm talking about, in case you want to go see his side of the story. Like, it makes, I don't know. I totally agree with you, Efton. I think you have a very good point there.
And I will be the first person, sorry, Octane, I will be the first person to blast a caster on this show. If it happens, I'll just boot my stream up live, yell this guy out, record it, throw it up on YouTube. I'll be the first dude, because that is by far not what we're here to do. We are not here to bring people down. We're not here to insult people. There's no ad hominem. It's all gameplay. That's what we do. We criticize the performance, not the performer. That's what goes on. And as I said, I haven't seen anybody really go against that, and I haven't really seen any reason to complain. But a lot of pro players that are new to the scene or new to the idea, or maybe they're seasoned and they just never adjusted to the fact that they're in the spotlight, have come and spoken out against that. And I just think that's coming from the wrong place. It's not painting an ill picture on our scene just yet, but if this trend continues where players don't understand and can't take criticism, then that's going to be, I don't want that motif in my scene. I want my scene, I want the Smite scene that I'm so heavily invested in to be filled with professional players that take the good with the bad, the wins with the losses, and can buckle down and try harder next time, or be happy about the win. That's what it's about. And attacking people personally or blasting individuals for one reason or another just isn't really in the prerogative. If you want to come out and say, yo, F.Dot's analysis on the last game wasn't cool, I don't agree with it, I fed my face off, but I set up my team for kills, I did everything I needed to do, I'm a support, then homie, let's have a conversation. But as much as it is out of line for DryBear or Bart or DM or Gandhi or anybody in the scene to go up on a stage and say, you are horrible, you'll never be pro, it's on the same level as saying, why are you able to say this opinion? Your opinion means nothing to me. It's the same thing. So think about how you want to be treated, to bring it back to kindergarten. But I don't mean... No. I don't mean to, like, disrespect the players that feel that way. Right. I'm just saying that, like, you know, you're in the spotlight right now, and your job is to be looked at, and your job is to have people make opinions on it, because you're trying to win. So you got to adjust to that, and we're professionals here, and it's time to act like them.
I agree.
Oh. Mm-hmm. No. Hold on 1 sec, Octane. Basically, what Octane's... You're muted, by the way. Basically, what Octane just asked was...
I'm sorry. There we go.
Do we think... Yeah, so just to reiterate what you just asked me, because I answered
Go for it.
Do we think that a lot of the situation is based on the relative young age of our scene?
Yeah.
Not the players, but how young the actual
exactly.
scene is.
Yep.
Or how close-knit the scene is. And I don't think so. I don't think that... Maybe it's the lack of experience for the teams. They'll give you that. But the second part where we're close knit, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's part of it. Not at all. In fact, that would deter players from really speaking out, in my opinion. But we'll see.
So where do you think that comes from necessarily then, or Smitten, you can weigh in as well. Like where do you think it comes from? Where you know, part of the thing that, you know, F. and I talked about in the past was the fact that there isn't a lot of unbiased journalists or writers out there that, like, after a match occurs or after a week is rounded up, they come out and they're like, wow, like, you know, MoX played terrible, X, Y, and Z, here's why type of deal. We're not really seeing that. Like, we don't have a lot of that in the scene. You know, we don't see people, what is his name? Slasher, like someone like Slasher in the scene where, you know, where he's calling people out when things occur type of deal. Like, we don't...
What is his name?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we don't have a lot of that journalism in the scene. And F. and I, you know, F. definitely is an advocate for it. He loves that type of stuff, you know, seeing that in the scene. We don't have that. And so right now it's like this peachy scene, and we don't have people dropping in and you know, saying these types of things. Are we just not there yet? Or is our growth not there to have that yet, to support it?
I don't necessarily think that's it. I mean, yeah, we could definitely be bigger, and yeah, you know, the bigger we are, the higher the probability that we have an esports journalist that is willing to take that on. I think a lot of the problems, is, like, maybe they're shy. Maybe, like, who are they to judge, like, Trix's, you know, Geb? You know what I mean? Like, who are they? But I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm just thinking that may be some people's initial reserves. It's like, who am I to sit here and try to critique a pro player? You know, I'm a nobody, I'm a no-name. But I would love to read some stuff that's out there that's kind of controversial in that sense, where they can actually call somebody out and actually back it up with evidence is a huge deal. If you sit there and say, F. you play Thanatos like crap, and here's the reasons why, you know, this game on this day, this play, blah, 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 blah. If somebody can come up to the front and say, I don't like this, and here's why, and present his evidence and his findings, I think that would be phenomenal if we had somebody in the community like that, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think we have that. Yeah. I am fully down to call people out when I don't think they play well. Kret does it as well. Adonis recently drew fire for it. Kret argued with a certain support on Twitter about the starting build and brought out, like, a Excel spreadsheet with mathematics involved, and after the math came out, there was no answer, surprisingly.
Yeah.
You know, we are, myself, Kret, Adonis, DM, Brandon, I think the majority of our casters have really made that transition, DryBear included, who everybody, you know, DryBear is the nice guy.
But your casters, I'm talking
but
like
see,
a straight up journalist.
Word, okay. Yeah,
like, somebody to come and just be like, this sucks, and here's why, and then take that to a more public domain, if that makes any sense. Like if you decided just to sit down and maybe like contribute like an article or something to the Smite magazine that's out, and just say this is what happened, and this is blah 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 blah, and here's why. Like I think that this is totally on the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what I do that a little bit in our esports section right here. Cret and I do that a lot on Ban Zeus. Airs on Tuesdays, so there's a lot of publications out there that sort of do that. Hinduman isn't exactly the one that's going to pull the trigger on stuff like that, but he's always down to have an educated conversation with the players themselves. So I think there's a lot of outlets like that, and I think that there's, as far as talking heads are concerned, we definitely don't have the scene used to be very cushy. It definitely used to be very cushy. And I think we've made that transition. DryBear tweeted about it, sort of about how, like, hey, look, we're the SPL now. This is the big boy leagues. I'm not
it's
like
still a little cushy.
On casts.
Yeah.
I mean, during a broadcast.
Oh, they're completely
not time
different.
To really trash on.
I agree completely.
If you're going 2-7, you got to talk about that. But the conversations that we're talking about now, the willingness to really like call people out. That's got to happen on shows like that and stuff like this. So that's, it's cushy because we see a lot of live broadcast. When we see more of the like I said, Ban Zeus, Smite update, face off when they get to do it is fantastic. Yeah. When we see more of that sit down conversation, that's really where we see like unadulterated conversation. On Twitter, it happens a lot as well. And but what Smitten says is right. We need to see a little bit more print like that. And a lot of people talk credentials, and I actually didn't like the portion of Adonis's twit longer where he mentioned that he was an ex-pro and diamond player. Yeah. Many coaches in established games, League of Legends, many coaches in teams that have LAN tournaments every single week are not good at the game. Monte Cristo is gold. Monte Cristo is one of the most celebrated coaches in all of League of Legends. A lot of these coaches have never even seen Challenger. So you don't have to have a background like that. You just have to understand the game at a very deep level to really comment on the stuff that goes on in the Pro League. So skill is independent of understanding of the game. So credentials, as far as that's concerned, you don't have to say, man, I got to grind my way to Masters before I can criticize the fact that, Moex built Divine Ruin first item. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is do some math. So, and Moex didn't actually do that. So, you don't have to.
New meta.
You have to understand the game. You have to understand that Divine Ruin has a fantastic passive, but it doesn't have great stats. So when you want to use it, you want to get it by third item, not first item in the solo lane, because that's what's good for your matchup. Because that actually doesn't matter. Boom. Analysis. Player that doesn't even play right. That's the stuff that I'm trying to say. You don't need those credentials. If you understand the scene, go for it. Give it a shot.
All right. The rant is over. Let's go ahead and move on to our patch discussion here. So this past week we had a quite large patch that came out. It was in PTS prior, and it came out. There were some changes done to it here and there, some critiques done to some of the items, some of the gods as well. But, we're not going to dive into the patch. We already kind of did that last week. This week it's just going to be very opinion-based. What our thoughts were on different parts of it now that we had a chance to play it, how we see it moving forward, what we see coming next week, stuff like that. So this was something that I know Smitten was excited to get into.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll kind of do this topic by topic and kind of branch through it. So, let's talk a little bit first about the items, and then we'll go into each little thing here. So did you find anything astronomical from the latest patch applied with the items that were added, some of the new items especially?
So I've been trying this, really disgusting build on Rama, where you do golden bow, like tier 2 golden bow start, and you build into boots, and then you get oboe. And it's actually
the double-reeded woodwind instrument.
It's so overpowered.
You got to understand though. I'm not building for the early game. I'm not building for the mid game. I'm building for team fights because the extra damage from golden bow and from oboe on their entire team when they're all grouped up is disgusting. And it also procs off of his 1. So all you got to do is show up, hit 1, and then just start, blindly blasting throughout their team. And then all of a sudden you've got 4 of their members down to they're missing a third of their health, half their health, a quarter of their health. just off of my poke alone, and it is actually disgusting.
Yeah, we had talked. Go ahead. I was going to say, we had talked about this last week a little bit before we actually got a chance and kind of discussed it a little bit. For those of you guys not familiar, plus 40% attack speed, passive, every basic attack has 25% chance to trigger Chain Lightning, damaging the target and up to 4 nearby targets for 30 damage. 50%, plus 50% of your total physical power. And so this was kind of very similar to like Zeus's auto attack. Or sorry, Chain Lightning, very similar in that manner. And so, you know, we had kind of theory crafted a little bit about this last week, kind of stating a little bit about like this item's kind of going to be strong and pretty good. And Smitten, you're saying firsthand, it's rather good on an AD.
It's disgusting. Like, okay, so I haven't obviously I made 2 roles, mid and AD carry. So like I haven't tried it on like anybody like Kali or any of like the physical gods. I haven't tried it out in any of them, like not physical, melee gods. So I haven't really been able to test out like that much so far, but that Rama build is actually it's like the trollest thing ever. You don't hit very hard, but you hit a lot.
Yeah.
And you poke a lot. Oh my god, it's disgusting. What are you giggling about? F dot?
That was funny.
Oh.
You don't hit very hard, but you hit a lot. It's fine.
Now I just gotta get awkward because that's my thing.
That's
Anyways,
okay.
But yeah.
Michael Cera in the office. Jeez.
Who?
Keep going.
F dot. Thoughts on the items here? Thoughts on the items? Anything that you've seen or heard or anything like that?
Celestial 1900 helm is really nice when you're playing
Legion helm,
Freya,
yeah.
which we play a lot of. Celestial too expensive helm is still too expensive. Same exact analysis we had actually came true.
Yeah.
And the oboe is
the oboe
interesting. The oboe,
it's not good.
The oboe's timbre is a little bit different than a clarinet. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
The oboe can the oboe might be able to replace Executioner in a hunter build, in the sense that, you know, you go ahead, you get Devos, boots. You get Devos for physical power and lifesteal. You get boots for movement speed and penetration. You get Executioner for attack speed. You get 2 crit items and then the final pen item. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Executioner, you get exactly. You get Executioner for attack speed, bonus penetration. Hooray!
Yay!
But the math on that, Kret broke it down. He wrote a dissertation.
Of course he did.
Reddit comment.
Of course he did.
Homie broke out the old like typewriter or whatnot. It's
calculator with the paper. It's like
yeah. I'll find it at some point. But he did the math, and the math is rather close with replacing it with Executioner on the hunter build. It's an interesting thought. I'm not married to either side. I want to see some established, talented players play with it a little bit before I really make a choice. Because it sounds like it could impact team fights. You get mini crits a lot. Hooray, hooray. Outside of the hunter role, on gods like Kalima, you know, well, Kali, you go chin size Fatalis, you're already over cap if you get the oboe. So rip you. But it could be interesting on some other builds. I want to see some people play with it. I like the idea of it on Chainsaw Gods, which are honestly just Kali and Osiris.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of it on Chainsaw Gods, so I would like to see that. By Chainsaw Gods, I mean
like
lots
a
of little hits. Bakasura as well.
Oh, with this true damage.
The problem is chin size and haste talus bring you very high up there at the attack speed. So we'll have to play around with the builds and see established players play them. But I like the idea that it helps out Chainsaw Gods. I don't mind the idea of niche items, so it excites me.
Yeah, I mean, the oboe there, as you guys talked about, you know, even with Kret with doing some of the math versus Executioner, I think it's really hard to see where it's at because of the fact of a lot of the item comes down to team fights. And, you know, are you using, you know, where the passive of it, where it extends off to additional, you know, enemies. I think that's, you know, it's a little harder to go ahead and put down the math on that, you know, depending on that situation. But I still think it's a really good item. It's kind of one of those like situational items per se. But I'm eager to see people start to, you know, different, you know, well-known ADCs. So what do you got? What do you got?
Sorry, I went ahead and I did my own research and actually found the comment where Kret posted all the math.
Yeah,
I did it. I found it all myself. Nobody helped me. So I went ahead and I linked it there in chat. Right there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. All by yourself. Such a big boy. Did the research. So, moving outside of items, before we get into the individual guides, let's talk a little bit about some of the miscellaneous items that were added in. Let's talk about the UI. What are our thoughts on some of the UI changes? I'll throw it to Smitten first once again. Thoughts on the new look? Likes, dislikes?
I don't know. Like, I thought the UI before this one was fine, but the only difference that I saw was, like, there's, like, 4 little, like, triangles coming off your, like, God's portrait. And, oh my, shut up, F-Dot, please. Anyways,
Mouth has been closed.
I saw that look, though. I know what that look means. Anyways, I love that, you can, like, move stuff around. You can
the HUD editor, yeah.
That's really cool, but I mean, like we talked about last week, I could just spend hours trying to get things into their perfect little spot like you did on World of Warcraft. I don't think it was necessary, but it is nice. It's a nice extra feature, but...
Yeah, the UI editor has been, a lot of people are a big fan of that, moving things around. F-Dot is one of them. We had this discussion a while back when we started to get into, when they first announced it. He's definitely for it. I'm a little against it, but it's okay. I mean, I will say I used it for the first time this past week to go ahead and take the new UI and make it look like the old one. So it's kind of one of those things where the old one worked for me. I didn't have a problem with it. I really changed it back just because of the fact that in the bottom right-hand corner, the 2 little bubbled areas to bring up like the scoreboard and stuff like that. Like I don't need that. So it was kind of like, all right, remove those and then kind of put back in, what was there before, which was, your items and stuff like that. So for me, I turned it right back to the way it was. It was interesting though. I have someone who hasn't played the game in a long time, who's a graphic designer, who's into doing overlays and stuff like that, looked at it for the first time now in like months. And he was like, wow, the UI is so much better. And I didn't really see it. And then he kind of explained to me like how polished it looks now and how, how it's very easy on the eyes and your eyes naturally, even things he said, like the way that they now have the players down the left-hand side. Where, the way it's kind of orchestrated now a little bit different. So he kind of had a few things to say about it. He actually really liked it. I didn't really notice it as much as him. F-Dot, what are your thoughts on the changes to the UI? Is it a big deal to you? What are you thinking?
It totally didn't impact my life. I don't like asymmetrical stuff. The feng shui of my UI was all messed up. So when it came to the character portraits on the left-hand side for my team, I clicked that and reverted it to the old way, so we got up on top. With the new thing in the left-hand corner with the whole all-in-one panel, I kind of wish the gold went all the way so you'd have that bar and then everything was on top so it would look cute like a kitchen cabinet. But, I mean, that was my only beef, and I don't really care. What?
Cute like a kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, you would like a kitchen cabinet. Anyway, so in a perfect world, I feel like the gold thing would be like the whole bottom, but we're pushing it right here. It doesn't impact my life. I turn off the 2 little things on the side. I put my old overlay over it. Put my stupid face the same spot where my stupid face went when I stream, and everybody's happy. It's really nothing to super hyper complain about. It didn't impact my life at all.
Okay. Chat's like, talk about the gods. We'll get to it, guys, I promise. Something else I wanted to talk about with just the UI and stuff like that. Let's talk about when you first get into the game. So the Georgia screen comes up, that goes away. You log in, and then you get a different type of home screen now. I am thrilled about this. I've been pushing for it forever.
You talked about this for like 25 minutes last time.
Right?
When was this? This was months ago, though. That F-Dot, you and I actually talked about it. Somehow the conversation...
No. You talked about it.
Okay. I talked about it.
You had this long Shakespearean-era harangue about how the real estate of the screen must be utilized. Like, you had this big, long rant, and I agreed, but...
Okay. What I'm saying is I really enjoy it now. I like, where you go ahead and join it, and you get all different types of information thrown at you. You can stay in the loop about what's going on in the competitive scene when you first join into the game, stay the casual scene, and some other things, too. They have, all these different things listed there. And the one thing I really, really like is at the very top middle, I don't have to keep telling people now. It's right there. There's a support button. You click it, and it takes you right to the support ticket website to put in a ticket. Yep.
What is it?
I'm so happy it's there. But I'm happy that it takes you out of Smite and opens up your browser and opens it. I think it's a great thing. F-Dot has a comment, though. What's your comment?
Yo.
Yo.
Hi-Rez. Friends. There used to be a problem when y'all patched. That the health and mana potions in the store flip-flop.
Yep.
Oh no, I lost 50 gold. Y'all switch the top 4 buttons at the top. Y'all switch Assault and Conquest every other month. And once a month, I have to do Assault. It's not okay.
Troll Res OP.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Y'all need to fix that.
Okay.
I never want to play Assault again. The last 80 times I've gotten Assault, realistically, I think I only have 16 Assault games on my account. I always feel like I get Bakasura. Stop making me play Assault and fix. Just don't move them. I don't care what order they're in. Just don't move them. I hate it.
Can I also make a request? Can we make a formal request here on the Smite Update Show to the creators of our beloved game?
What do you got? Do it.
I would like to propose this much needed and necessary thing. Like, it's called a logout button.
Compared to the X in the upper right hand corner?
I don't support Smurfs, Missy.
I'm not smurfing! No, that's where I go to, like, like, if I've got somebody in chat who's interested in looking at Smite, and I'm like, okay, I want to show you, but I'm not going to take them right into a level 30 game. That's going to put them off. So you got to take them into baby games so they can, you know, take the baby steps.
Baby games.
Yeah. Oh, and the second thing is, like, whenever you are D&D, I would love a message. Like, if somebody tries to message you, and instead of it saying your D&D, have it, like, display a message that you custom created yourself. Like, for me, I go /D&D and then put my status, like, streaming now. Like, I don't feel like getting, you know, mass murdered anytime soon. And F-Dot is killing me. Every time he laughs, I'm like, what'd I do? What'd I do? Anyways, so those are my 2 requests.
Yeah, I brought up the new kind of layout when you first join in. At the top here, right underneath the play, they now have community support, Smite Pro League, and Smite Facebook. And then in there, I like right here, news. They have all these like news listings there that you can go ahead and check out, which I think is awesome. Current God rotation, new skins are there, featured videos. So I think I really like the layout. It definitely, I was really pushing for it, just as F-Dot had talked about some time ago, and I'm really pleased that they made that leap. A lot of other large publishers like Blizzard and Riot, they follow that suit where you first join, you first load things up, and this is what you have. It's very informational and great. So I'm happy with it. Thank you, Hi-Rez, for doing that. I think it looks great. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things here from this patch that we want to go over and discuss. And I guess we'll kind of talk about gods a little bit. So let's talk about gods. So I will throw it to Smitten first. Let's talk about Arachne. Like where she's at, the rework, dislike, what do you got?
I didn't actually, like, I thought I would see her a lot more than I ended up seeing her. She was, like, first, like, people would leave the match lobby if they couldn't play Arachne, like, in the PTS. Mm-hmm. So, like, I was expecting her to be a little bit stronger, but, it does look like they nerfed her down a little bit prior to release, which she absolutely needed. Absolutely. She's still really strong. But, like, I don't know, I just haven't seen her played, like, picked over someone like Mercury, who's still really, really strong.
Arachne is unbelievable right now, I will tell you. I agree with you, she's very good. Even after they kind of toned her down a little bit in a casual setting. I'm not coming from a ranked perspective. I'm not coming from a competitive scene perspective. Keep that in mind. Coming from a casual perspective. When I'm seeing people playing Arachne, unbelievable. And Hi-Rez hit Arachne perfectly when you think about a giant spider coming to get you. Literally, when you're trying to get away from Arachne, the spider ulting coming behind you over your head, pouncing down,
scary.
Is look at F-Dot. F-Dot's like, ugh. They hit this perfectly. But the thing, like, she's so good right now. From my experience, from a casual perspective, and I have to keep saying this because I know people are going to be like, in ranked, she's garbage, blah, blah, blah. But literally, like, the other day was playing ADC, had, I think it was like Poseidon along with me on my team. We're slowly getting out of combat. I'm very low. Poseidon has a pretty decent amount of health. Arachne flies in, drops down from the ceiling, takes out a Poseidon in like 2 hits, turns to me, chases after me, kills me, and it's like, neither of us could do anything because of, one, her actual speed, her physical speed, and then the amount of damage she's doing. I just couldn't believe it. I was blown out of the water with just how strong and fast Arachne can get to with item builds and also with picking up the speed buff. So I am hoping to see some adjustments there, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. F-Dot, what are your thoughts on the current Arachne?
Arachne's numbers are stupid, dude. Arachne's numbers are just so dumb. She has gone from character that should be a reportable offense if you play her to a character that's very good. Yeah. And I'd always rather a character be playable than not. I think it's really lame to have a character that is just not good. And that's really what Arachne was. But after I'm ranked 10 with Arachne. No, Shibalaki is one of the best ultimates in the game. He just can't affect the laning phase. But Arachne, like, homie, you just couldn't pick her. And now, yo, you should pick her. And I don't like the character. I think the playstyle is really lame. But it's the good kind of not like a character, because I think she's good. I think that her self-healing and the damage numbers that can happen with R1 are absolutely incredible. I kind of like the way that she owns the jungle. A well-played Arachne, you can deploy 2 walls, if I'm not mistaken. A well-played Arachne will wall off the entrances that people normally gank middle lane from. Those entrances that go behind the middle laner, you can just wall that stuff off, and now there's spiders attacking you. You slowed, and you're like, oh crap. You know, you can do that. So Arachne sort of like owns the jungle. I like that. I think it's cool. The gameplay itself bores me, but she is very good. I could anticipate some number adjustments for sure. Yeah. You're muted.
Dang it! I keep muting myself because of my son making lots of noise upstairs. I apologize. So, anyways...
That sucks so bad.
I tried! Hey, try to... So, anyways, what I was saying was that Arachne does have a very strong presence in the jungle. You're human, son,
not your fur child, right?
Thank you. I hate you.
I think the term fur child's really weird, and I just want to make sure you're not one of those guys.
No. So...
No. That was
what I was saying.
No, I hate animals. I'm Octane Pro.
That's right. Arachne, I agree with F-Dot, does have a strong presence in the jungle because of those webs. You step through them, you have spiders all over you, doing a decent amount of damage. I mean, it's no joke. And then, as well...
spotted.
Yeah, and then what's I'm saying, and then all of a sudden, 10 to 15 seconds later, Arachne's right on top of you, because most likely you still probably have those spiders trailing behind you or still doing damage. So, yeah, I mean, I can agree that we'll see some number changes. Do you think it's going to be in the attack damage and a physical power there? Do you think it's going to be in attack speed? What do you think it's going to be in? Smitten, what are your thoughts?
What?
Wow.
Her nerf?
Like where do you see it? Where do you see it? Do you see it in her damage? Do you see it in the attack speed? Where do you see it?
It's got to be her attack speed, because that's pretty much looking at her kit. I mean, it's her attack speed that makes her kind of stupid. Like the lifesteal that she has, like, it's just you gotta slow her down just a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta wean her off of it. But yeah, definitely attack speed.
Yeah, I can agree. F-Dot, any specific focus for Arachne or no?
I think we'll see a reduction to the a lot of the number 1, not the attack speed so much. The number 2 is a steroid. It's 40% attack speed on 3 hits, and that's it. I think it's really more about how front-loaded the number 1 damage is. It's similar to Loki's aim strike or whatever it is. It's damage. So the way Arachne's number 1 works is it's a single strike that does a bazillion damage and heals you for a bazillion over a period of time. It's a heal over time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's hitting really hard right now. The attack speed, maybe, but I think it's really more about the ridiculous front-loaded damage that Arachne's got. So okay. I think that's what we'll see.
Okay. While Smitten is chatting away over there, Let's talk a little bit about Odin. Odin had some pretty decent changes done to him. We definitely we definitely see Odin shifting away from your where some people have played him in a Guardian support perspective. He's getting a little bit more of a focus now. A lot of those protections were removed off of his abilities and stuff. So some changes to him, to say the least, especially to his ultimate. Do you find this to be a better Odin? A worse? What are your thoughts on Odin after playing a little bit of him this past week? What do you guys got? Jump in.
I haven't really played too much of him, but I do want to say Bird Bomb.
Bird Bomb
is really strong. Basically, what happens with Bird Bomb is the number one, the number two, the Ring of Birds, and the number one, the jump that does a bazillion, damage Bird Bomb. It clears camps almost instantaneously. Junglers that like to be omnipresent in lanes, this character will really let them do that. Whether or not they want to play the character is up to them. But the clear is really, really fast from a very low level, so you can impact lanes a lot more. That's very interesting, and I kind of like saying Bird Bomb. So.
I've seen Odin more often in the duo lane and all the games that I've been in. Like, especially since the meta has gotten to the point where, yeah, you come in as a support, you hang out for a little bit, then once it's time for mid camps, you're hardly ever over in duo lane.
Right.
And his initiation is just absolutely out of this world, because all he does is bird bomb people, and then cage them, and then wait for his allies to run up into the cage and actually like take part of that fight. Like, Odin's actually kind of strong, kind of really strong.
Yeah, he definitely has a little bit more direction now. Kind of what you talked about there with just the rotation. He's not he's not filling their traditional like Geb or Athena or Bacchus situation or at all. He's
almost like an Ares. Like Ares has tons of damage. Yeah. And if you think Ares doesn't have tons of damage, you
are crazy.
But when you play Smite, one of the cons for Ares is low damage, Smitten.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Conzo damage, 3 chains OP. But seriously, like, he does a ton of damage, which, it was just the other day I was playing with an Odin as support with my, like, really, really awful, Rama build, and it worked because I had that strong presence of Odin there to help me clear waves, because for, like, the first 10 minutes of the game, my Rama can't do anything because of his build. So, like, having that Odin there and helping me to initiate and helping me to, like, catch up on kills and clear waves, it was just phenomenal.
Do you feel, both of you guys had positive things to say about Odin, situational-wise, new focus. Do you think we will see adjustments to him, toning him down a little bit? Or do you think he's actually at a good spot now? I mean, I wouldn't put him side by side with Arachne in regards to we definitely need some changes. I think he's at a good, comfortable spot. I think this is a situation where, as Hi-Rez has said in the past, like when they release a god or changes to a god, they let it sit for a few weeks and then go ahead and make the adjustment because they want to get the statistics. They want to get into it. Do you think we're going to see a lot of changes to Odin, or is this a good spot for him?
I'm not too sure. I don't think he is as strong as Arachne is at the moment, but I think he's pretty strong. I don't think we'll see him at a high level of play in the support role, just because right now it's all like Team Athena again, because Global versus Stone Shield is just kind of OP. And then moving past that, the players that choose characters like Kumbhakarna and Sobek won't look at Odin, but the players that opt for Bacchus will be very excited about Odin in the support role. That said, I think we'll see him more in the jungle, as I said. We have a couple of junglers in our scene. Kind of want to see Pernicus play him, like I said, but Pernicus isn't playing competitively at the moment. Odin can do a lot in the jungle, and, as I've said in the past, Odin controls objectives. If you want something, put a ring on it, and that's what Odin does. This is my fire giant bee.
Oh my
God.
God.
Throw a ring on it, Beyonce style, and it's yours. So Odin will be a valuable support looking at late drafted Guardians. Take a look at it and you go, all right, they got an Apollo, they got a Gab. We can drop an Odin in the dual lane with some other people that can't jump. So there you go. It works out well in that situation, but I think he'll be preferred by the higher tier players in the jungle. And I want to see some of our top tier players play him before I really say anything about how balanced he is.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see moving into when we come back actually from the bye week. These gods will be available for play, is my understanding. So I'm eager to see what happens with Arachne. With picks and bans up against someone like Mercury for jungle or Nemesis. On top of that, Odin as well. I'm eager to see if it's just a return of Odin since the warrior changes that occurred. So let's talk about the last god here on the list. I apologize if I butcher the name, Kukulkan Khan. But
wait, what?
Kukulkan Khan? Would someone else like to pronounce his name?
I love you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Kukulkan.
Pretty much.
Kukulkan.
Okay, thank you. I told you. Apologize for butchering ahead of time. So
Kukulkan sounds like a Power Ranger villain that you don't want to fight. Like, evil Emperor Kukulkan!
So,
army of Kukulkans! Like, yeah, you missed the boat on that one.
So, pretty much Ao Kwang ended up, his kit was transitioned over. And Smitten, you probably played him more now. You played him more than anyone, probably between myself and F. I didn't play him.
What are you trying to say? Huh?
I didn't play him at all. I'm not saying anything. I didn't play him at all. But what I'm saying is, from what I've heard with some of the people that have played him, a lot of the timings were off, and it felt different. It didn't feel like Ao Kwang. So give us a little insight on your thoughts from playing it here.
All right, so last week I talked about how I was playing him in the PTS, and it felt like his tornadoes were shorter. Like,
okay. The size or the duration?
The range that you could place the tornado,
okay.
It felt shorter. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's the model rework and that's just a perception thing on my end, or if it's just actually shorter. It just felt weird and off. The duration of the tornado seems a lot shorter to me. The timing between the ultimate, you can actually see the ultimate and it doing damage, I feel like has gotten shorter too. So I don't know if it's just it's a perceptual thing on an individual basis, but I've talked to a couple people and they seem to feel like that's the same thing. I didn't notice anything different with his Squall or with his Slither. I didn't, or whatever those abilities are called now.
Okay.
Like his 1 and his 2. What?
It's Zephyr, Smitten, not Squall.
Oh my word.
It was okay. Back when it mattered, it was Squall.
Back when it mattered. So,
okay.
So F. What are your thoughts on it?
MLC Stealth said that the camera pitch is different, which is why he feels slower, which is why some of the abilities don't feel the same. That sucks. Readjustment period, hence the SPL ban. I haven't played it. I kind of trust MLC Stealth's opinion on middle lane gods, so I'm
just a little bit.
I swear, this chat.
So, there's a lot of, sort of what Smitten said, there's a lot of feel things that are out there, and I think a large part of them stems from camera placement on the new god.
Yeah.
But it's the same damn thing. It's just going to take a little bit of readjustment for people that have played tons and tons of matches on him. But after a little bit of time in the gym, I think everybody will be Gucci.
Yep.
So, any other gods that you guys think we should touch base on that we had some time to play with this past week?
Cabrakan.
So, Cabrakan had some changes done to him, and when I, kind of talked with a few people, they said it's not game-changing for him. There's still, other Guardians are better picks. But what do you guys think? You think, Cabrakan is in a good spot now, or is he still kind of meh? What do you got?
We saw Durgius play him today in the Challenger Cup, the European Challenger Cup for Potato Balls. It's actually a requirement to say their name like that. But Durgius played it. Durgius really likes him, and actually that was his competitive debut. Cabrakan made his competitive debut today in the European Challenger Cup. They did not win the game. There were a lot of other factors, like a middle lane Thanatos, but whatever.
Oh, my word.
Which actually is one of the assassins that I really do like mid. Putting Poseidon in the jungle, I actually really do like that. So all of the silliness that happened, I actually was a fan of. That said, Cabrakan is decent. Cabrakan is interesting. The number adjustments were pretty nice. I know Divios has really taken a liking to him in the solo lane and has been trying him out. we'll see how it works going forward, but I think he's actually playable now, and I think it's time to really give him a fair shake, as opposed to when he first came out, everybody was like, oh, it's really cool to press down B like I'm Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And now I don't give a damn. Like, so, yeah.
Okay. Smitten, what about you? Have you seen Kabrakan played at all in your gameplay? Yeah, me either, to be honest with you.
Not in Conquest.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Kabrakan in Conquest. I've seen him. I think I saw him twice in arena matches, arena pre-mades, but I haven't seen him in Conquest, so I can't really give you an idea there. Like, in arena, he was a lot of fun because he's got some serious zone control with his ultimate, but other than that, I don't really. I don't. What was that?
That was the tremors.
Yeah.
Here first. F.Dot did the animation for Kabrakan.
That's right. Oh, did you see? Did you see from the other show that somebody took when you had the shit scared out of you, the GIF, and made a GIF of it, and they called it Scared Dot. That was awesome. It was so good.
Is that when there was a thunderstorm?
Yeah, there's a thunderstorm and all of a sudden, boom! And you see him jump. I'm gonna find it. Somebody's gotta find it for me because somebody posted it on.
Thunder can be startling,
so
my friend. Okay.
It was so good. Man, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Somebody made a GIF of it. I might have it on chat. Will find it. They always do. Somebody posted it on Twitter. Yeah, that was awesome. But anyways, anything else we want to talk about? Chat, keep in mind, we went through most of the patch last week in regards to thoughts on it, stuff like that, and broke it down. This week we're just kind of giving our opinion. Now that we've had a chance to play it, where we see things at. Anything else that you guys want to go over?
As far as the patch is concerned?
As far as the patch gods, I will say I'm kind of interested to see where Hi-Rez goes next week. If we're going to see a patch or not. What do you got, Smith?
Did you say GIF?
Yeah,
yes.
GIF.
Did you say GIF?
Yes, why?
Yes, it's GIF.
It's a GIF.
It's GIF.
It's actually GIF.
It's GIF.
Actually GIF.
Yeah,
The
no.
inventor of the file extension.
Chat knows. Chat knows what I'm talking about.
It's
Chat.
GIF.
It's GIF. Pickles. I'm telling you. The
I didn't say I didn't say
extension
pound.
says
All right, I didn't say pound. Come on now.
Did you say it smells like pickles? That's what chat sounds like. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
It's a
Maybe you
GIF,
got them all
bro.
in the same room. Maybe if
No,
it
no,
smells
no.
like
See,
pickles.
I had a person in my life that we like to butt heads about everything, and we argued about this one time for a long time, and eventually she was team GIF, I was team GIF. Eventually she's like, you know what, I'm gonna consult the internet, and she did a search. It took her a long time. She found the inventor of the file extension, and it's actually GIF, like giraffe. GIF. Oh no,
You're proving a point that doesn't matter.
It's GIF.
What?
It's GIF.
Anyways, I wasn't able to find the GIF, but I did post where
Yeah.
somebody had marked the actual video, so it is in chat if you guys are interested.
Let me watch this.
Check it out, enjoy it. It's rather entertaining. It starts out, it's a few seconds in.
I hate you right now.
We're gonna put it up. We'll put it up on screen for everybody. How's that sound?
Real talk. Okay.
Okay. We'll
We're
put it
about
up.
that life.
I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up right now because you always like pointing out when I make mistakes. This isn't really a mistake. This is just a let's laugh at F.Dot situation. So let me.
To the nerds.
Yeah. Right. All right. Let me.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
So we'll bring it up for the fine folks at home to see, and then we'll kind of round things out here if you guys are interested. So, gotta wait for the commercial to end. I hate YouTube. All right, here we go.
Hey, man, those commercials pay somebody's bills.
That's right, they do. All right, so we'll just go ahead and put it up here, and
What?
watch our man F.Dot.
Thunder's scary, dude. Thunder's scary. That's all I'm saying. Thunder's scary.
I know, I'm scared of Thunder
Have
too.
my hands off.
I'm trying.
That look on your face, though, is adorable.
Yo, that's scary, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it again.
I know, I keep rewinding it. I have to. It's so good. It's so good. All right, so we got a little extra time here. So I thought we'd take some.
Guys are trash. Look at Octane Pro in his Earthbound shirt. You actually look like Lucas from Mother 3.
Are you wearing the same shirt? No, you're showing it on stream. I was like, I thought we were Team Red.
Yeah, we are Team Red.
Oh my God.
I changed.
One more time.
One more time. The audio's the best part. The audio's the best part.
You can hear the thunder in the audio, so y'all know that I'm not that scared.
You can.
It's the startling event.
Shit.
It's startling. It's you know, it's not like I'm afraid of the thunder and the lightning. It's just like.
The best part was it was right in the middle of the show too. Like it was perfect. It was perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take some community questions. Round out the show here. We have a little extra time. I will go ahead and post the link in chat. Go to www.ask.fm/the-smite-update. You don't need an account or anything. Go there, post your questions. Smitten and F. The credentials are in chat, or in the document if you guys need them, and we'll give you guys
where?
I love chat. Thank you so much. The first question we have received is, if the moon were made out of barbecue spare ribs,
would you eat it? Yep.
I mean, I would if sure. I'm not like super into barbecue spare ribs, but I'm down. I'll eat.
So, Smitten there at the very bottom of the document there, if you need it. Oh, somebody found the GIF. Awesome. That is awesome. I'll post the GIF.
So excited
I am
that.
so happy. The GIF is in chat, by the way, guys, and it just loops, over and over and over. So, we'll give you guys a chance to go ahead and post your questions. Ask.fm/the-smite-update, and then we'll just go ahead and take a few, and we'll go through them. We have a little extra time here. Smitten, I'll let you go first, so take some time, look through a few, and we'll go from there.
Oh my God.
If you had to make, go ahead.
No, you first. You're probably gonna read an actual question.
If you had to make any changes to Mercury, would you buff and nerf any of his abilities? Just stop making Major Look crit for 800 and I'm Gucci.
Mercury. It's so surprising how Mercury made such a comeback in the competitive scene. I mean, he kind of dipped down for a little while. We didn't really see a lot of him as much, but now, I mean, it's either ban or pick every single time. He's in every game either way. Smitten, what do you got?
What is your take on the assassins being put into almost every role now? I hate it. Okay, first of all, it's super gimmicky. I'm legit tired of seeing Mercury seeing a Mercury in the loading screen and not knowing where he's going. He could jungle, he could solo, he can mid, but more often you see him as an AD carry or as a support. I hate gimmicky stuff.
Last week we saw him as solo. Yeah, solo lane. We actually saw him playing in solo, and I can agree with you.
It's annoying.
I dislike that. Someone who is meant more in solo, that you would see in solo, for example, Ra, should be better in that role than someone like Mercury. It bothers me that we're going back to almost where those warriors could play a little bit of anything, because when they were so good. So that frustrates me. I like the creative play though, because we're seeing that win games. A lot of these creative picks and these different lane combos are winning games right now for some of these competitive teams.
It's hard to keep up with these gimmicky team comps. I can't stand it. Seriously, I'm gonna start a vlog series on my YouTube and just vent about assassin freaking supports. That's all I'm gonna do, because I can't stand it. As an AD carry, going up against Mercury, just trying to box Mercury is impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
Yeah. Well, I know when just talking about it's strategy, picking these weird picks and then seeing winning games from it. I remember SPL the other week when I know the Mortality lost to Cloud9 because of their weird gimmicky picks, and I remember seeing in the team discussion about the fact of how do we counter this? This is a crazy style of play. Let's figure out how to counter it, and so it's quite unique. I like it sometimes, but then on the flip side of it, I'm no, I do not want a jungler assassin playing in the solo lane. It just doesn't fit for me. What are your thoughts after that? You're shaking your head a lot, but I know you have some disagreement.
As long as it's not tank meta, I'm fine. as long as we don't have 5 dudes with 4,000 HP and a 27-minute time to kill, I'm kind of okay.
Fenrir support. Fenrir support.
I mean, like when it comes to assassins, I like ambiguous picks.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, every character would be able to do a lot more than just one role. I kind of really like the idea of assassins being every which way and doing a lot of different stuff. But I think it's god specific. To me, it's really fun that Chalk can play mid and Nemesis can't. Well, Nemesis is an assassin now, but Chalk can play mid, and Vomana, who's very successful in solo, isn't as impactful because of a number of reasons. But I like the idea that picks can be put in different places. I think that it's a lot of fun to try different stuff, and I like ambiguity. So
here's my question: if we're now going ahead and starting to see this like new, unique style of meta with just as you said, different picks, different places, do you think that the item restriction should still be in place in regards to these gods can only pick these items and these gods can only pick these items? I mean,
yes.
Okay, you still do so great. Okay.
Yeah, I agree because there's items that just wouldn't provide any benefit to your character, and that's kind of wackadoodle-doo. Like, there's no reason for Zeus to build a I don't know, Deathbringer. Like, what the hell is Zeus going to do with a freaking Deathbringer, right? Absolutely nothing. I like the idea of more items coming out that can be used on different types, like more Fatalis. Give me more and more. Give me more and more. I'm down. Shouts to my girl Lady Gaga. But I think that's more of an item thing, not a character thing.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm sorry, Smitten, did you pick that question? Or is that F. I don't recall. You did pick that question. Okay, sounds good. Question here. How do you find a team to join for tournaments and eventually possibly SPLs? This comes up a lot, actually, like just in general, even when we had the Hi-Rez weeklies. I think the big thing is, one, playing ranked does a pretty good job as you start to get into your individual leagues. You start to play sometimes with the same people. And so then, there's some organization that starts to occur with playing with people outside of ranked. Playing in some of the community tournaments that are out there, your Smite, your Tier Monster tournaments. The Tier Monster even has, I think it's Code Green, where it's kind of like pickup style. On top of that, there's the big one here. If you're by yourself, putting together some groups of people might be a little different. But if you have a group of friends, right up F. Alley, the Challengers Cup, perfect example. I mean, it's the easiest way to get up to the SPL level of play at this point. I think if you're playing by yourself, it's a little bit more difficult. And traditionally, I think everyone's been said, hey, push to ranked, get acknowledged in ranked. There's a lot of ranked players that are now on some of these pro teams because they got recognized in ranked. So, I don't know. F. Any other insight that you'd like to give?
At the moment, yeah, it's a big hole. The best way that a lot of pro teams say to get noticed is playing ranked. But another way is, as you said, the Challenger Cup. Get together some of your friends and join the Challenger Cup and really just try your best. And maybe your friends aren't super hot, but maybe your freshman year Marcus Camby ready to make some impressions. Go for it, dude. And people will notice and people will take note. And they might not pick you up for their team and replace you right this second, but it's a way to establish yourself in the scene. That is a big hole, though, and somebody should be thinking about filling that void because we don't really have a place to go and say like, "Hey, I want to play. Give me a shot."
Okay. F. Why don't you grab one this time? What do you got?
Oh, question. Let's take a look. Give you free gems. No, if I knew who you were, I'd actually ban you. Who's the best ambiguous pick besides Mercury? That's a good question.
Freya.
Freya.
That would be a good one. That would be a good one because you see her
really, really
all over the place right now.
While she's best in jungle, like recently within the past couple of weeks, we've seen her as AD carry. We've seen her solo. Yep. I've seen her mid a couple of times. So yeah, she's definitely very ambiguous as she can go anywhere.
No, I think we can agree across the board there. Smitten, grab another question.
All right. It says, so Smitten, how hard is it not to cuss on Smite game? It's actually a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Told you.
It's a lot easier. Maybe I've had a slip, but considering, it's actually pretty good for me.
You're such a good girl.
Wait, what?
I said you're such a good girl.
So, do you want more magical junglers? Do you want some magical warriors? Something different that is currently, and by the way, I love the show. Shout outs to you, whoever you are. You are the man and or woman. Magical junglers could be really cool. I really like the idea of more magical junglers. Freya is sort of a jungler by default because there's really no spot to put him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just no place to put her. And magical junglers are usually just mages sort of shoved in their role. I'd like to see some magical assassins, some stuff like that. That would be really cool. Magical warriors, sort of like Ares. Yeah, I'm totally down to see stuff like that. Give them a little more clear, maybe see some stuff like that. I'm totally down. I want to see more variety in the scene. Not the cosplayer, but actual god variety. I would like to see that. It'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential moving forward. You know, as Hi-Rez is. Hi-Rez has, you know, there's so many different paths they can go, and I think that's definitely one of them. We haven't really seen much of that yet, but I'm excited for it. I'm eager to see how that works out. What was the other one I saw here? I'm trying to see. If you guys have one, just go with it. Let's see. There was one I saw, and I wanted to read it. You guys can grab, you know, go for one if you see one. I'm just trying to scroll through these real quick.
It's your turn. I'm putting you on the hot seat.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, well, then in that case, I'll take my time.
Sometimes when I'm alone, I paint myself yellow, dip myself in chocolate sauce, and walk around asking people to eat me. What sweet confectionery would you dress up as in order to entice people to eat you? Octane, why don't you take this one first?
The fact that you read that question makes me laugh, and then the fact that you read the entire thing being like completely serious about it.
Yes, like, I think this is important and that our viewers want to know. So please, Octane, give us a solid answer. I'd really like to hear your insight on this particular confectionery question.
I will say rainbow sprinkles. That is what it's gonna be. I'm just gonna put it out there.
How about you, Smitten? Really? Yeah?
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah,
yes!
definitely.
Yes! Yes, I'm so happy.
Yes, I've been muted
so
this whole
happy.
time. Good. Whipped cream. There you go. What?
Was that question? I wonder if that question was from Kret, by the way. Just want to put it out there.
That sounds like a Kret
question.
It does. It does.
Because
smell?
Kret's in
Smells
chat.
like a Kret question.
Octane, please tell me. Please. I hate you, Kret. Let's see here. Let's find. What about you, F. Dot? What do you got? What do you got?
Oh my God, Kret. It's one of those days. That's a tough one. I don't really do sweets. I'm not really into sweets. I don't like things that make me thirsty, and the majority of sweets make me thirsty. So I guess I'd have to say like a lollipop or something like that.
My God.
I'm going to ban you. I'm gonna
my God.
hang up on you from this call right now.
All right, I'll leave it alone.
But
I got
real
you.
talk, like crackers, cookies, cake. I want a beverage afterwards. So.
All right. Let's see here. Thoughts on Guan Yu after the adjustments that they made to him this past patch?
It's annoying.
I personally don't think it makes him any more viable as a pick picking him up. What do you think of that?
Did he just get super quiet, or is that me, Schmitten?
He
just got super quiet.
Me?
Okay.
I got quiet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
All of a sudden, you sound like you're 5 feet tall.
I'm sorry.
There you are. All right.
I didn't check. All right. Whatever. What do you got?
What was the question?
Guan Yu. What are your thoughts on Guan Yu after the adjustments this past patch?
Zimstar played it today. Basically, what happened with Guan Yu was there was a numbers adjustment. They took the protections off of the heal and put them onto the, for those that have that old of a memory, the Tallow Assault. And it just made it more conducive to the playstyle. Before, you had to burn your heal cooldown before entering a fight to make use of those protections, and it just didn't make no sense. Now you can Tallow Assault to start the fight, get protections when you're hitting the enemy in lane, and then you can heal to like it all makes sense now. So I think it's not a buff, it's a change, and it works with the idea of the god.
Okay. Okay. So we saw him today with Zimstar. You think we might have a chance of seeing him more and more then? I mean, you know, is this the comeback of Guan Yu because he has a little bit more sustained? Okay. No. Okay. That's legitimate. I'll take it. Smitten, why don't you pick one?
All right. What is your opinion on Xbalanque and his kit/usefulness compared to other AD carry hunters? He's definitely on the bottom. He's like literally a half a step above AMC, and AMC is the worst.
Oh my word.
AD carry. Like he's half a step above that, and it's only because of his ultimate. He's not very useful. His kit's okay. I mean, it definitely has got like that whole the mantra of like the older gods and how like it's definite that you need to use this combo in order to do like effective damage and stuff like that. But like, he's definitely like he's second from the bottom.
Okay.
Like especially like Apollo. Okay, there's a reason everyone's like, why is Apollo still top tier for AD carries?
Apollo,
and I'm like, let me tell you why Apollo is top tier. And what are you giggling about?
Because he's so stupid.
Who? Apollo? Apollo he's still top tier because of his global presence. His ability to snake out of situations or just unexpectedly happen into like the entire enemy team to get a penta. Like he's still current because he's still global. Like, yeah, we talked about that earlier. I want to open up that cam forms again.
Yeah, I mean, Xbalanque has one of the coolest names, Xbalanque. I think it's so dope, and I want to say he's top tier just because of his cool-ass name. But in reality, his ultimate is, he is definitely on the lower end of things. But that's largely because you can't get out of lane. And you know how much I don't reference Arena. I don't.
You love Arena, dude. I don't know what you're talking
Shouts to
about.
all my Arena fans out there.
You want to bring back Arena Ranked. I don't know what you're talking about. You tell me that all the time.
Get out. Just let me have 6. I know I've got a couple of Arena people out there that like to push my buttons and stuff.
Yep.
But you put Xbalanque into the Arena where he doesn't have to lane, and all of a sudden he's top pick, top ban material.
Oh, and you also increase the gold per minute. Gold per 5, whatever.
Yeah, it has more to do with the lack of a lane phase, though, because Xbalanque's ability to lane is almost not there at all, and that's really what hurts him. Once it comes team fight time, you've got a AoE slow, you are mobile, your ultimate cuts off vision, which is a setup altogether. He has the strongest basic attacks of all the hunters because of his steroids and his possible passive. Xbalanque's fantastic once he's out of lane. So it doesn't really work because the lane phase is like 20 minutes-ish. So Xbalanque doesn't always get to get played, but I really like saying Xbalanque. So that's really where he lies right now. I think he is kind of all right where he's at. I don't think every god needs to be top-tier viable.
You're adorable.
I was combing through.
Why.
He wants to know why. Tell him why.
I'll tell you off stream.
Oh, I like it.
And also, shouts to my man Proxy QQ for playing Xbalanque jungle back in the day.
Right?
It was Proxy QQ playing Xbalanque jungle, if I'm not mistaken, with Shadow Nightmare and Freya mid. It was just ridiculous, and they won. So, shouts to my weirdo EU people.
So I was combing through a lot of the questions, just getting rid of the garbage ones, trying to find some decent ones. And I came across one. It says, with China stepping into the Smite scene, do you think it will help elevate Smite in the esports? In esports, and do you think the NAEU scene will be able to compete once China catches up, considering they take gaming far more serious? So two-part question. First part regarding to, do you think China stepping into Smite is going to elevate Smite in esports overall? Yes. Yes, and more yes. I think it'll take some time to catch up, but the audience over there for video games is like what we see over here for traditional sports. And I'm excited to Smite to be unveiled and to be a common known video game over in China. I'm really excited for that to be well known, without a doubt. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, do you think it will elevate Smite as an esport overall?
Yeah. More exposure worldwide? Hell yeah, dude.
Like you don't get much more, promotion than like having Tencent pick up your game. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Tencent backs one of the bigger games in esports.
Mm-hmm.
The LCS, League of Legends, is backed by Tencent. So, that's a big market. China has, I don't know, I think the exact number is 17 bazillion people in the country. So, that's also a thing. As far as, like, the culture, Korea is probably where esports are, like, the numero uno.
Yeah.
Not so much China. But, through proximity, if China starts playing a lot of Smite and, Korea's in the same area, so maybe that'll pick up. But, it's just a lot more people to play the game. So
yeah.
I'm down. I'm excited. The second part is, do I think that NA and EU will be able to compete
with China?
Yeah. NA and EU are obviously a little off to a head start. Once they catch up, I don't do the whole race thing. I think that gameplay is gameplay, and the difference between a lot of esports being dominated by certain Asian countries is difference in culture.
Yeah.
So I think that if we have players that are playing at a professional level and accept this as their career and their job, that they can compete no matter what region they're in.
I think, especially with China and Korea, once China catches up to the NA EU scene. So, let's jump ahead like 2 years from now just to say, an ample amount of time for China to be on that same page. It all depends on, I guess, how the teams over in China, how serious it's going to be. And if the Chinese culture over there, just looking at other games, especially North Korea, as I've had said, they're very much like 12 hours a day, team houses, stuff like that. I'm hoping we get to that level because I'm hoping that the Chinese players will, we see that. I think that's exciting. I want our esport to be at that level where teams, organizations are willing to spend the money to have these players playing in team houses, paying full salaries, flying these guys all over the world. Like, I'm excited for it.
Game houses? Like, please.
Like, that'll be awesome to be Smite. Now, putting them side by side, I think NA&EU is still going to compete. I don't think this is like, I don't see this as kind of like your StarCraft 2 or your League of Legends where, the scenes were kind of, and I don't know the history of the scene, I apologize, but from my understanding, there wasn't the big gap that there is with NA&EU and then China. There wasn't this like 2-year gap of being released to it. But as I've thought, said in the past, proxies are used. So I'm not sure. Any additional thoughts there?
My additional thoughts are, I don't think North Korea will be seeing the game anytime soon.
No, I didn't say North Korea at all, by the way.
Are you sure?
I'm 110%. I said Korea.
All right, then I'm being trolled by chat.
Yes, you are, because I saw you laugh and I saw the comment and I was like, really? I was like, come on now.
I don't know, man. With you, I don't know.
So, any comments on China at all from you, Smitten?
I don't see why it's a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't understand why people are like, are they going to be able to compete? Well, of course they're going to be able to compete. Like, what do you think they're doing right now? They're gearing up to compete. So it's an inevitability. It's a time factor. That's all it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a couple of Americans isn't the qualifier I want to use. We do have a couple of experienced players helping them out. We have Coach Kurt over there, along with Marian, who was in chat earlier. They are working with the Chinese teams to sort of not catch them up to speed because they're not exactly behind, but just sort of working with them to sort of put them in a better place. And yeah, so we do have people over there that are established in the scene and helping out. I never said I had faith in Kurt, but we'll see.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's a really good, interesting question. I don't know if you guys have talked about it yet. Surely you have, but it says, what do you think about the whole Xbox thing? And what I assume the viewer is asking is, what do you think about Smite, being on Xbox? First of all, I think it's absolutely exciting because if we're on Xbox, that's a lot of more exposure, and that's, a lot of more people to buy gems to go into this huge prize pool for this amazing tournament, right? I'm totally down. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that I know in order to update the game on Xbox on that platform, it does cost quite a bit, and we're patching a lot right now. So I'm a little concerned about just the money issue, like patching into Xbox, like if Xbox is actually going to pay dividends on like having Smite. So I don't know.
It could also be farther behind too with Xbox. Like they might not be patching it, weekly or bi-weekly like we see right now with the PC version. You might see it like monthly. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, we don't even have a timeline at this point. I mean, they're saying Xbox, coming to Xbox One soon, but there hasn't really been a timeline as of yet, is my understanding as to when that's actually coming out. I mean, have you guys heard differently? Next
I
year.
haven't heard a single date.
I haven't heard differently
either. Okay. We talked about the Xbox One coming or Smite coming to the Xbox One a few weeks ago, and some of the things that we kind of talked about was just the fact of, the separation in servers, so the player bases will not be based together. We haven't heard whether accounts transfer over, and my guess is probably not. Like, oh, I have the God Pack and all this stuff here. Can I move it over? Probably not, but just a guess. Something else we talked about was the competitive scene a little bit, in regards to, are we going to see mergers of the competitive scene? And we talked about saying we said probably not as well. They'll probably say quite separated. So F.Dot's shaking his head.
Yeah, I mean, there won't be a competitive scene for Xbox. There'll be people that pick up Smite on Xbox and think it's dope and love it and look at the competitive scene and go, that's cool, I want to be involved. Oh, it's PC only? No doubt, let me plug my Xbox controller into my PC because you can do that.
Yeah.
And, it just wouldn't make any sense to have two separate scenes when the game will be virtually the same, so.
Okay. Sounds good, yeah. F.Dot, why don't you pick our last question here, and then we'll go ahead and round things out for the day.
Sure. Let's see.
No pressure. No pressure.
You guys took all the good questions. Why is F.Dot Bay? I don't know, man. It's just how we do things. Let's.
F-Bay.
Why do you kill me like this? All of a sudden, you just spring.
Just put you on the spot. Not a problem. Take your time.
Do I think the issues with the servers will hurt Hi-Rez in the near or longer term? Do I think Hi-Rez needs to aggressively attack this and be more open with the community about it? Should I continue spending my money on a game with servers like they are?
That's a legitimate question.
Yeah. I think that the servers kind of like American servers are fine. I get like 20 ping. Like when I get high ping, it's 100. It's nothing to really complain about. West Coast servers are a little rocky, but it's playable. European servers, we've seen some issues, and those issues are largely out of Hi-Rez's hands. From what I've heard, it has to do with like routing stuff and all this nonsense. Other games in the genre and have sort of the same problems. I'll answer your last question. Should you spend money? Yes, you should. The game's dope. And as time goes on, those servers are only going to get better. And I actually want to give 10 points to Hi-Rez for being as transparent as they have been, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they make posts saying, like, they tweet out, like, yo, somebody's in our base hacking our dudes. Like, they go, nope, it's this problem today. We're looking at it. They keep y'all updated. They let you know what's up. And, it's just a thing. I think servers can only get better from where they're at. So
there's only one way to go from here, and that's up.
So, I think it's kind of rough when it comes to trying to play some ranked and keeping your elo in certain European countries, but it's something. Put it this way, it's something that Hi-Rez is definitely very aware of. They like.
It's not like they don't know.
Yeah, Hi-Rez isn't like Bart and Kelly at a desk, and then you email them about servers, and they're like, not doing that one today. Delete. Like, that's not their gimmick. They have people looking at this stuff, and they're gonna figure it out. So, by all means, if you like the game, keep up with it for sure. It's in the process.
I mean, I know, I can say North America, I don't have an issue at all with that. Any ping issues, even stability issues. I haven't really seen a lot of it. I mean, there was some time where we had a little bit of rubber banding, but very rare, to be honest with you guys. When you're looking at like the EU scene, I do see a lot of complaints, a lot of people, but I'm eager to find out, like, if it's people as well, like, outside of the country that are just trying to play on EU because that's the closest server. And, same thing with, like, other areas of the world. Like, there aren't a lot of servers right now. it's like NA, EU, you know, you have your now you have level up down there with like Brazil or Latin America. So like, and then, you know, over in China. But outside of that, there isn't really a lot of servers. So I could see it being frustrating for people who have been in the scene for quite some time. Think about it. What if you've been playing Smite for like 2 years now? And you've been dealing with it for that long? I can see it being frustrating. I can see it being a turnoff. I think now that the game is launched and like where the game is going right now, I can see Hi-Rez working with Tencent to start to look at servers being turned up at in other parts of the world, because I can see the need for that. I really can. I don't feel your pain because I haven't experienced 300 plus ping or 200 some plus ping constantly, or servers going down. I haven't experienced it. But what I can say is I can understand where you'd be frustrated, where the game you love and play and have invested in the past 2 years and you're having problems with it. I think server stability is an issue that Hi-Rez is looking into, and just adding more servers. And, you know, the Bill came into chat at one point and said, we will add new regional servers as we see it necessary. So it's something they're looking into, is my understanding. This was a little while ago, guys. But outside of that, there's nothing wrong with being turned off to the game if you get frustrated about it. I understand it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a shame if you decide to go elsewhere, but unfortunately, it is what it is right now. Smitten, any comments on that at all?
Nope. Just hold your horses.
Hold your horses.
This game is definitely worth the wait to get their servers fixed. I mean, like, if this game is already as amazing as it is right now as it stands, like, just imagine what it's going to be like whenever they finally do, like, have the means and the time to be updating these servers. Like,
I get 30 ping. I'm fine.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, like I'm really excited when we have servers like everywhere, and server stability is good for people and ping is good for people. I'm excited when we get to that point for the scene. So we're gonna go ahead, guys, and round things out for the show. We did start quite a few hours ago, and want to let you guys know that this show is available on iTunes. So please make sure that you go on iTunes, you look up the Smite update, and the audio version is available if you're. Oh my word! What was that, Smitten? I know it was you.
Nothing.
It's always her. It is available on iTunes, so please check out the audio version over there. Also, if you guys want to check out the entire show and all 65 VODs, go over to youtube.com/thesmiteupdate. You can check it out over there. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel so you guys can be notified every time the show is added up there for your enjoyment. Also, shout outs to Hi-Rez Studios for hosting the Smite update on their channel, Smite Game. It airs every week at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Sundays. And before we head out of here, Smitten, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/Smitten. What is it? Twitter.com or just at SmittenGFG. YouTube.com/GameFirstGaming and Facebook.com/GameFirstGaming.
All right, great. F-Dot, what about you?
Twitter.com/f.ny and twitch.tv/fswag. I'm all over Twitch. My schedule's on my own channel, so go give that a follow. And yeah, heads up, 10 points.
Awesome, sounds good, guys. You can check me out at Octane Pro SCII on all platforms: Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So please make sure you follow me over there. And guys, stay tuned. We'll have the Smite Talk podcast. It's like a radio show style podcast that'll be coming up next. It will feature myself and FG3000, where you guys can go ahead and call in and give your opinion on different topics. And we will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.